I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon, and welcome and trust and pray that you are ready for another fantastic Friday. As we invite you to be a part of our talk today, we'll start things off with our good friends from the Department of Children and Family Services. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. Truly is a pleasure to join Ms. Cassandra Farron together with her colleagues, Sigrid, Jasmine, and Tempura as we focus on World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Ms. Cassandra, to you and your team, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, Sterling. Thank you for having us. And how are you today?
Oh, man, I am great. And if you and your colleagues don't mind me saying the chance to get a chat with you all, I feel in the day has even gotten better so far. So thank you so much for what you do and for opportunities for us to share and to appreciate the importance of our elderly, in particular, during this season that we're all experiencing. I'm honored that you take time out of your day, each of you, to share with us and recognizing that you have much on your plate and time goes fast. We want to cover a lot of ground. So, Ms. Cassandra, would be most appreciative for you to set the tone for us.
Okay, thank you again, Sterling. Thank you for the opportunity to come on to talk today and bring some awareness to the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, which is coming up on Monday. Even though it's a public holiday here, June the 15th every year is recognized internationally as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. This day was launched in 2006 by an organization, the International Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse, but it's now also recognized as a United Nations Day by the United Nations in order to coordinate awareness of elder abuse. And so the day really is there to highlight the need for people to understand what elder abuse is, how it can be prevented, and then the many different initiatives that happen around the world to be able to reach the goal of prevention of elder abuse. And at Department of Children and Family Services, we have responsibility for social work services to older persons in the country. So therefore, we have a duty to create this awareness of elder abuse within the country. And what we're trying to do, Sterling, is to change attitudes in the community about the views of our older persons. There's a global issue, but there's also an issue here of age discrimination or ageism, which causes negative perceptions about the value and the role of older persons in the community. And from this, really, it breeds ignorance or acceptance of elder abuse, and that is something that we want to change the attitude of persons in the community on. We believe that elder abuse is preventable and that all of us in society have a role to play to keep older persons safe from harm. So we want to be able to ensure that there's safe, healthy environments for our older persons here in the Cayman Islands, but also to support what we call age-friendly communities. And this is something that our team has been looking at for quite some time. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that later on in our presentation. But also, I just want to say, tell you a little bit about the services that we're offering for our older persons. Our department has a dedicated team of social workers, which we call the Elderly Services Unit, but we also have 2 registered nurses here in Grand Cayman, and then there's one also in Cayman Brac that we can call on any time if we need to do assessment in regards to elder abuse or placement of older persons. We also have community development officers who do community outreach services here in the department. We offer social work intervention, casework to elderly and their families, which includes safety planning for the prevention of elder abuse. And of course, it's our job to do public education, such as what we're doing here today. And then new, which came about because of the COVID crisis, we now have the Older Persons Helpline, which is managed by social workers from our department. And that helpline can take calls for varying issues. Does not just have to be elder abuse reports, but varying issues that older persons are facing on now, or family members who want to inquire of information in regards to any concerns of their older family member. They can call into that helpline. The number, I have it to give it later when we talk about how to report, but I'll give it now. It's 1-800-534-2222.
Oh, that's reporting, or is that for assistance as well?
That is for assistance as well. So there, we have several options that persons can make reports to our department. And one of the things that we want to make sure of as well is that when I say that everybody has a responsibility here to prevent elder abuse, is if you know or there is some suspicion of elder abuse, we ask you to report it, and then it will be our duty to investigate, to see what help can be made to that older person or to that family. But if anyone knows of any life-threatening, immediate danger of older person, we ask you to call the police or call 911. But you can also make reports directly to our department on our telephone number 949-0290. We also have an email address, dcfs@elderlyservices.gov.ky. We can take reports there by email in case persons do not want to call in. And of course, the helpline that I just discussed is run Monday through Friday. It's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And as I said, that helpline came about because of the COVID crisis, so we know that there are numerous issues that have come up now in regards to older persons living in self-isolation that we can assist with as well. So that line is there for reports of elder abuse, but any other types of concerns as well.
And this is as you shared the notion as we look at our aging population and the respect that we should have, but for them to be actively engaged, involved, and to be safe and can safely access, not just the parks, the communities, the services, but our streets and everything that we have to offer. Maybe after we take the first break, perhaps we could come back and invite you and your team, Ingrid, Jasmine, and Tempora, to maybe share with us, talk more about what you were sharing in relation to age-friendly communities, the idea of prevention, look after the types of abuse that we experience, and some of the risk factors. Would that be fine? When we return for the break, we can get into that.
Yes, certainly. We're happy to get into that. Thank you.
All right. To our listeners, please stay tuned and rejoin us after the break.
Vamped Motors and RBC Royal Bank are making it easy for you to buy your new car or truck. The Spring into Summer Sale at Vamped Motors is going on now with no money down and no monthly payments for up to 12 months on select models only. That's no monthly payments for up to 12 months or until June 2021 on select models only. Offer ends June 30th. Find out how you can drive home the best deal of the year and call Vamped at 949-8288 or email sales@vampedmotors.com.
It's not Toolfest at A.L. Thompson's, but it's almost as good. Toolfest has been an annual two-day event since 2009, but because of current events, there will be no live demos. But that's okay, because what will be at Not Toolfest is the deepest discounts of the year on select hand tools and power tools for 3 weeks. Save big on tools by Makita, Milwaukee, Bosch, Skill, Dremel, and other power brands, and get 15% off all items in the tools department now through July 4th. Remember that Father's Day is June 21st, so give them a big boy toy from A.L. Thompson's during Not Toolfest.
Bring a little bit of luck to your house with Lucky Slice from America. Burgers, steak, and the all-day American breakfast. From Europe, fish and chips, pizza and crepes. And from Asia, sushi.
Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, 7 days a week, delivery or pickup, 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. In these difficult times, we can all use a little bit of luck. Keep calm and stay lucky.
Minimize contact. Make your credit card payment by phone. Pay only for food. No delivery fee. No service charge. Certain restrictions apply. Call Lucky Slice Pizza to place your delivery order now. 949-3456.
Order from K-Man Creperie, Mojo Sushi, and Lucky Slice Pizza. Call 949-3456.
Home, which should be a haven, can even be less of a safe space during curfew if someone is experiencing child abuse. If you or anyone you know is being abused, help is nearby. For emergencies, call 911. They will redirect your call to the relevant agencies. For general guidelines and inquiries, call the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub, MASH, at 1-800-534-2273 or 945-0545. Alternatively, email mash@gov.ky.
The Economics and Statistics Office are currently conducting the annual business surveys. The surveys seek to measure the performance of all local industries. Survey forms for this year are mailed or emailed to all entities operating in the Cayman Islands. The business surveys are confidential under the Statistics Law and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Law. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the Economics and Statistics Office. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit eso.ky or call 525-8565 or 325-6652.
All residents are asked to stay at home unless you have permission to work, have to go to a medical facility, pharmacy, bank, or supermarket. If you must go out, remember to stay at least 6 feet from other persons who are not members of your household. This reduces the risk of transmission, whether or not a person with coronavirus is showing symptoms. Everyone must wear face masks or other face coverings while taking public transportation, inside buildings, or other public spaces. For more information and to view the new regulations in full, go to www.gov.ky/coronavirus.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Truly is a pleasure to continue partnering with our good friends at DCFS, especially now when we can focus on the elderly and talk about World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. There's Cassandra Farron with our colleagues Secret Jasmine and Ms. Tempora join us. And as we continue the discussion, perhaps first again, Ms. Cassandra, do you want to respectfully just quickly introduce your 3 other colleagues, and or shall I?
Sterling. I am joined by 3 of the social workers from the Elderly Services team. So we have Miss Jasmine Powell, Tempora Wesley, and Sigrid Menskart. And these social workers, we handle all of the reports of elder abuse or neglect that comes into the department. But we also are responsible for manning the older person's helpline. So anybody calls in, you probably have talked to one of us before.
Well, I'm glad that you guys are available, and the notion that you shared that we talk about creating age-friendly communities, and I'm hopeful that that's something that we will certainly make a significant priority in terms of access. As you were referencing that, and before we invite Ms. Tempora and Ms. Jasmine, perhaps Ms. Sigrid, from your perspective, as Cassandra mentioned, what is first off an age friendly community? How do we go about doing such?
Right. Well, hi, Sterling, first of all.
Yes.
This is
Good.
Sigrid. Thank you for having us again. That's
Always a pleasure.
really helpful, yeah. So I would like to touch a little bit on age-friendly communities and preventing elder abuse. And what I like to start off with is that, first of all, it's important to educate our public. Educate through training, webinars, articles in the newspaper, on the radio, like we do now, and presentations to the community to prevent elder abuse and to just create a more overall understanding in the community. And on a positive note, I do want to touch on that due to the COVID-19 regulations, we do see a positive change already, and a lot of people in the community are wanting to help older persons, and they're advocating for them during this time. We really see that a lot of people take initiatives, and a lot of organizations come up with all these programs and food programs, which is really amazing to see that happening, and it really assists a lot of elderly persons already. It is crucial to stay connected and to serve older adults in general, but especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, and it prevents loneliness and elder abuse. Now, we touched a little bit on what makes a senior-friendly community. We think that supportive services are very important. The presence of home and community-based caregiving support, like home health care, food assistance programs, adult daycare, a service that could drop off medication, for example, or transport seniors. Those services are very welcome and help the community a lot. Also, healthcare. Accessible healthcare is very important, and the option to have home visit from a nurse or a doctor when the senior is not capable of traveling or maybe lives in a remote area. That's also a very important factor. Safe neighborhoods, low crime rates, and emergency preparedness plans to take care of the needs of the older residents. Housing is also a topic that we want to touch on. Accessible housing that is affordable for older persons and safe, mostly safe. I mean, some houses need adjustments, and we have programs to make those adjustments as well through DCFS. Assisted living facilities will be very beneficial for seniors as well. Then supermarkets and other small markets within walking distance will be very helpful. Banks and restaurants and other places that seniors could visit. I mean, it would be a lot easier for them if it would be accessible and close by home. So if we would have those small places available. In Cayman Islands, the supermarkets are already offering special shopping hours at the moment for seniors, which is really helpful. And also there is parking for the elderly at certain places, like the hospital. So that's definitely an improvement. social integration is another topic. Programs and organizations that promote social activities and intergenerational contact, such as places of worship, cafes, libraries, the museum, the arts gallery, all of those places where older persons could meet with other generations and interact with each other. That is really helpful. And then last, transportation. Transportation is crucial to get our elderly out there, out of the house, go to places. It's important that the neighborhoods are walkable and that the neighborhood is safe for pedestrians as well, and that there's parks. Sorry?
Yeah, no. Definitely safe and walkable, accessible. Yes, as I said, not in my
Right.
agreement.
Yeah. I mean, this is important for every age group, I would say. I mean, for children, it's important that there's walkways as well, but especially for the seniors, because they could hurt themselves if it's unsafe to walk certain places. Yeah, and it's important to stay, to stay healthy and get your exercise. So those things are very important, definitely.
And as I listen to you, I'm recognizing too, sorry, that we seem to, for sometimes, believe that many of these sort of services in relation to the care for elderly has to be outsourced. I'm just looking at a quick comment that has come through. If I could try to read it to you, it hits on a couple of points, but this one particular to, making age-friendly communities. In paraphrasing it speaks to the issue that, in this time that we're now seeing changed lives and workspaces, maybe employers could see just similar to what we do for our children. It says maybe we could also equally do for our parents and our elderly. Instead of having to outsource, in brackets, hire some caregiver, if there's a willing, able, and qualified, you know, family member, I think that says. Yeah. So as I read through it quickly, is that one of the challenges then that when we look at our employment situation, just like we have for childcare, we're not a community when it comes to the employment aspect, recognizing the need for that adult child, so to speak, who's employed in an organization to also, be able to have requisite time, assistance, and support to help with the aging parents.
Sterling, that is something that we try to work towards. There is a lack of residential space in the country for placement of elderly or disabled persons. So we always try to work towards having persons age at home. If there is a need for home health care, we try to work to provide those services to the older person and their family. If older persons are able to live at home with their family members, it's better for them. And we know that is something traditionally that has happened in the past. Older persons lived in a home with many generations of their family. Children, grandchildren all lived in the same home. One of the things that we are tasked with as well is ensuring that the family members understand the changing behaviors of older persons due to aging. It might be because of dementia or because of any other medical conditions. So if it's aging in place, it is something that we can help to assist the family with as well, trying to educate them so that they understand what these new lifestyles would be, so that we can address elder abuse in the household. And then also we want to be mindful of caregiver burnout as well, of a family member having to perhaps still work, even though they might be working at home, and then caring for an older person. So if there is a need for home health care, and that we can work provide that is something that the family wishes to obtain, then we work to try to assist them with that.
Indeed. Well, respectfully, we just have one quick short break to take, and then perhaps when we come back, Miss Jasmine, Miss Tempora, we'll invite you to be a part of our discussion as well. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
We are here for you. Whether you are in extreme financial need, have lost your job, have been directly or indirectly affected by the pandemic, we are here. The Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan is here to assist through the Cayman Islands Government Emergency Withdrawal Program. To withdraw, visit chamberpension.ky and complete the online application form by filling in your personal details, the amount you wish to withdraw, and upload a notarized government ID such as your passport or driver's license. For information as it happens, visit chamberpension.ky or follow our social media pages on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. We thank you for your patience as we address the high volume of email and phone queries. The Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. You can count on us. Obey the laws and wear the gauze. Protect your jaws from septic paws. Stay clean, Cayman. Reflection sells hand sanitizer from $2.99. 10 surgical masks are only $9.99. And the best KN95 masks from only $3.30. Volume discounts available at all 5 Liquor for Less locations. Shedden Road, North Church Street, Savannah, Northside, and the McClendon Drive Airport location. Don't miss the Liquor for Less incredible lockdown price markdowns. Hundreds of fine from $2.99. Cases of ice cold below wholesale prices. Save $9 off liters of. Enjoy our manager specials exclusively at Liquor for Less. Prices so low, we can't say them on the radio. Liquor for Less enforces the wearing of masks, social distancing, and preventative measures to help stop the spread of COVID-19, such as consistent hand washing and only leaving home for essential purposes.
The Cayman Islands government wishes to advise the public that they will continue to distribute reusable cloth masks across the Cayman Islands with the assistance of the RCIPS Community Police Officer and Community Safety Officer in your areas. Members of the public living in gated stratas are asked to contact the Community Policing Department at the Georgetown Police Station on 649-4222 to arrange delivery or collection of their mask. Stay safe, Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Thank you so much for joining us. It really is a pleasure to be able to continue partnering with our friends at DCFS as we focus on World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. And Ms. Sandra Powell, together with her colleagues, Tempora Wesley, Jasmine Powell, and Ms. Sigrid Mascot. Hope I got that one right, Ms. Sigrid, because I always mess it up.
Yes, you
But
did, Monroe.
I did. You're just being kind. Thank you. You must be kind to SBSD. But from that perspective, though, maybe we could respectfully ask Ms. Jasmine and Ms. Tempora the idea of, as we look at abuse, maybe trying to understand the types of abuse. If you could maybe even allow us to recognize what some of the things we may unfortunately be seeing in our communities. And then, Ms. Jasmine?
Yes, sir. Okay, I'm Jasmine Powell, social worker with the Elderly Services Unit, and just will be discussing briefly the type of elderly abuse, the type of abuse that's experienced by our elders. I would like to importantly note, though, that most of the type of abuse that our elders experience is pretty similar to those of child abuse.
such as the physical abuse, abandonment, and sexual abuse, psychological and emotional abuse. However, in addition to those, what's unique to our seniors is that of self-neglect as an abuse, abandonment, financial abuse. So those are significant and unique to that of our seniors. And we also want to note that abuse, the different types of abuse, is very evident in our Caymanian society. We would have preferred it not to be so, but it is the reality we face daily as the elderly services unit. As it relates to physical abuse, that of course is pain or injuries that is willfully inflicted upon an elderly person. It's mainly done by another person, of course, who is responsible for them. So that can be a caregiver or a family member who is a caregiver, or not necessarily a caregiver, but just a trusted family member. Self-neglect. Pardon me?
No, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. Self-neglect is a failure to provide for themselves through an inattention or dissipation. So self-neglect is usually, of course, not intentional. No one intentionally neglect themselves. But it's usually occurring within the life of our seniors as they get older and begin to lose capacity and perhaps not as strong as before, and doesn't take much interest in self-care as they would have normally done. And that tantum equals to self-neglect. Psychological and emotional abuse is usually inflicted by another person. It's really mental suffering where a person in a position that the senior trusts. Most of the time, psychological and emotional abuse comes about through historical grudge, probably unresolved issues, I'd rather say, within relationships and trusting relationships. These unresolved issues lead to psychological and emotional abuse of our seniors. You know, like children think, oh, I wasn't the most loved one when you were growing us up, so, well, you could take that now. And keep throwing these things in the face of our seniors, who, of course, is not in a position to defend themselves or have the energy to even explain their position anymore. And that, of course, is sad. We have the issue of abandonment. And abandonment it goes hand in hand with neglect. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not, where our seniors are left alone in destitute situations. We sometimes, when we are called, we have had instances where we find seniors dirty in situations where they would really do with a bathe or just been having personal incontinency and accidents. And we have found that happening with our seniors being left alone at home. Sometimes it is that the family member who is a caregiver sometimes don't even realize how much their senior or their loved one is losing capacity, because they're so used to seeing them strong that they don't even realize that, oh, she can't stay home alone anymore. If I leave the food on the table, she'll definitely reach it. Not realizing that the energy is not there and there is a risk of falling or even forgetting to eat. So sometimes abandonment can be unintentional, but it occurs. Financial abuse and neglect is really the saddened areas that definitely affect our society here, on our seniors here in the Cayman Islands. We cannot reiterate the importance of being educated and our seniors as they approach senior years to be very careful as it relates to financial abuse and neglect, because they become much more vulnerable as they get older. Instances of financial abuse that we are confronted with pretty much, I'd want to say daily, is, and this is the saddened part, where our seniors would have made their own provision for their senior year. This is very sad, Dwayne. We have situations where seniors save their pension, have their money in their bank account, purchase their home and paid off for their home, and decide that, well, I'm going to live here till I die, or I have the money in the savings to pay the caregiver to take care of me. And when at the onset of losing capacity, then you may have a family member that they trust go ahead and sign their lives away, not knowing what they're doing, signed over their properties, signed over their bank account. And when we would get involved years down the line, when the senior is destitute, realize, oh, you don't have a house anymore. There is absolutely no money to take care of you. And they have to remove to a home. Very sad, but this is a situation that we face here. And so, therefore, we emphasize and educate to really say to our seniors, protect yourselves and be very careful about your finances as you get older, because you protect against dependency and you end up being dependent anyway. So those are some of the presenting issues. And we find that we have new cases with COVID happening, and so it becomes more of an importance to highlight these issues. However, in consideration of time and no further ado, should you have any questions?
Yeah, oh yeah, lots of questions, because we live in a community, and I was going to ask maybe just two quickly, but as you shared with time, but perhaps Ms. Tempora, the risk factors that we were sharing, given Ms. Jasmine's comments.
Right, and then any broader will take questions. Good afternoon, Sterling.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Yes, we still have some time. We would like to share some elements that can be identified as risk factors for elder abuse, such as dependency, family dynamics and living arrangements, gender, financial, economic hardship, wealth, social isolation, substance or alcohol abuse, mental health or psychological conditions, and caregiver stress, just to mention a few, okay? Because we can find more. Opportunities for elder abuse increase for people who are dependent on others for assistance, social, emotional, physical, financial, or spiritual support. The second factor to mention is the family dynamics and living arrangements. Sometimes people live in small space and it's a large family, and you can find a lot of tension, and that could affect the elderly living among the family. And they can abuse the elder as well. We can say, thirdly, gender abuse. And you're going to be amazed with this one. In countries like the U.S., no Cayman Islands, it happened to both older women and older men. But statistics shows that female are more abused than men. Why is it? Sometimes female, they don't understand how the banking system operates, and they depend on other people to do the banking for them. Can be a friend, can be a family member, can be a caregiver, and they're abused. They don't know how much they have in the account, and people can take advantage of that. Social isolation is another risk factor. I know Siggy spoke a little bit about that on the friendly community. But other people who are socially isolated are less likely to be aware of available resources in the community. Why? They don't have too much contact with others, they have spiritual support, or they don't spend enough time with friends and family or neighbors. And that could lead to elder abuse. Another one, and we're almost done, substance or alcohol abuse. We will come back another time, don't worry. When there is substance or alcohol abuse in a family, this can contribute to unhealthy relationships and behaviors, and is linked to increased risk of abuse of older people in family relationships. And the last, I had two more. Mental health. If the elderly has mental health illness, that can lead also to elder abuse and caregiver stress. If the caregiver is tired, nobody is helping, is more prone to abuse the elderly. And another time we will discuss more on risk and perpetrators.
All right.
Sandra is coming just to wrap up now, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Cassandra. And as we have this opportunity, it's certainly an important topic, Ms. Cassandra. Appreciate it very much, ma'am.
Sterling, thank you again for this opportunity. I just want to say as well that the marking the June 15th World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, we will have some content on the Department of Children and Family Services Facebook page. So persons can go to our Facebook page to get some further information on elder abuse. We're going to be putting up some videos and then some information on the helpline as well. So persons can seek further information there. And then also just to promote the Older Persons Helpline, again, it's 1-800-534-2222.
1-800-534-2222.
Yes.
All right. Well, we certainly want to have you back on again and speak specifically, about our elderly and some of the information that you shared and expound on it further. But thank you very much. Trust that you and your team and all of us will enjoy the weekend, celebrating in a way that is sort of recognition of who we are and what we want to be. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sterling.
All right. All the best. Well, let's pause now and take a break. When we come back, please rejoin us. Got a couple of things to share with you. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only two species that we have here on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Persons who wish to travel to or from the Cayman Islands while the airport remains closed are reminded that they must first register their details using the online form available at exploregov.ky/travel. For assistance, call 244-3333 and email emergencytravel@gov.ky. Caymanians and permanent residents receive priority on inbound flights. In addition, it is recommended that persons continue to avoid all non-essential travel. In international news, Starbucks is reversing its position that had prohibited employees from wearing paraphernalia supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, now saying they can wear a Black Lives Matter t-shirt or pin until new branded shirts are delivered to 200,000 employees. Band-Aid is creating a range of bandages that embrace the beauty of diverse skin, including hues that better match the skin tones of black and brown customers. Band-Aid's traditional soft pink bandages have long been a point of contention among people of color who have questioned why white skin is the default shade for a range of flesh-toned products. As the world works to produce an effective COVID-19 vaccine, some experts suggest an existing vaccine that almost everyone already gets might help. There is plenty of evidence that existing vaccines such as polio vaccines protect children against a wide range of infections.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
your voice, your choice, your radio.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. It's some open line for the remainder of the program as we invite you to call and share your thoughts with us. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. If you want to WhatsApp, well, send it through and good friend Mr. Paul Akal fills in so ably. We have a fantastic team, seamless transition when one shifts into another gear, one slips in to the seat, and all goes well. So very, very grateful for the very resilient, very dynamic team that we have here at Radio Cayman. And all available to take your calls and share your thoughts. I've must share. You would think. Well, let me ask you. Would you think that as the world now sort of continues to supposedly show greater progress, with hearing without question many people making trillions and certainly increase significantly their wealth, does that necessarily equate into a better sense of humanity? Perhaps would we even ask, do we see a greater sense of humility or respect, empathy, and the like? Well, you share your thoughts with us. We'll put a few things that have come to us today alone. And it's amazing the amount of things that are transpiring. Some of it transformative to make it that much better, to improve our lives, hopefully to be healthier, safer, and certainly a kinder, gentler world. But some of it you have to question to what extent. And some may be inflammatory, it may enrage you. But if we could take a page from what we see unfolding around the world, here are, probably by now millions of people, certainly tens of millions, and probably, hopefully, even billions, when you think of their disposition and their certainly response to the not just the unfair, but the blatant contempt, disdain, disrespect, and certainly the way we treat others. Societies have, stepped up to say that this no longer can be the way we should be living in our society, in our world, in this time. And so that effort that we're seeing is that more and more of a peaceful, peaceable demonstration against injustice and police brutality, abuse of power, perhaps even seeing some in authority, whether it's political or otherwise, they are getting to the point where they're talking, acting, and hopefully trying to get things adjusted. Well, for those of you who are trying to call in, and the toll free line seems to again be a challenge for some, even the Flow subscribers. I have to wonder, man, when are we going to get technology right and people freely access things that are supposed to be freely accessible, across the globe? 949-8037. If the 1-800-534-8255 doesn't work for you, keep trying, man. I mean, it's appalling sometimes the things that we allow to unfold in societies when no one speaks against the injustices. Take, for instance, the comments many of you have seen and shared in relation to, again, things that have circulated so uh, sadly, so freely in the social media sphere without any kind of retribution or action on the part of authority. Some have even questioned, well, can anybody do anything about it? I refer specifically to the recent, posting of properties for rent with a very, very blatant disregard and contempt, as one fellow shared with us, that says, these properties are not available for rental by residents of the Cayman Islands. And some of you have questioned, well, can something be advertised to that? Is that discrimination? Is it not some sort of laws against that discrimination? Is that even more than racial, discrimination? It just seems that it goes beyond any sort of explanation. Well, let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi, good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Very thankful, And you, my lady, how are you?
I am absolutely fabulous. I am blessed. I am alive. I'm in good company with you right now. All is well.
Amen. Amen. Without being, I don't wish to be disrespectful to anyone, but I've just got one, two, three, six messages. They say they're trying to dial the 800 number. By chance, are you on? Or,
I tried to dial a 1-800 number. It said that it was not in service, and I listened in, and you gave the other number, 8837. That's the one I'm calling in on now.
Okay, I want to make sure I got this number right. 1-800-534-8255. That's the number you say you tried, and 5 other people said the same thing, and they're not getting. Oy vey. We'll get a fix. We'll get a fix.
You know, it's technology. You know, it fails.
Is it?
And we need to keep that in mind, because you're running around in an illusion that because we're in a technological age, we are in a perfect age, and nothing could be further from the truth.
Well, you're right, and the reason why I asked you, because it's just to make sure that we identify it. But when we look at our students who are either in Cayman trying to do schooling, or primary high school students, or even our university students, technology, whether they're here in Cayman or whether they are in the UK or other places, it doesn't work all the time the way they want it to work when it does work. So, but we have you now, do we?
And the thing that we have to
you.
consider is that in these times was technology envisaged at that time to carry such an immense weight as it's carrying now. And it really wasn't. We saw that Zoom was a fully functioning meeting board before COVID-19. COVID-19 happened, Zoom could hardly stay up because everyone flocked to technology, to meeting rooms online, and Zoom couldn't maintain it. And then you look and you see how other platforms such as Google and even Facebook has expanded their technological prowess and services by arranging other meeting platforms where they could kind of, so to say, share the burden, And there are a lot of students, primary school students as well, even here in West Bay, who's affected by, and even employees in West Bay who are affected by the internet access that they have, or lack of internet access that they have. So, yeah. But Dwayne, let me what do you say? You good though?
Oh man,
okay.
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed.
Okay, all right, good. So let me I have two things I would like to discuss today. One is a bit shorter than the other. The first one is about the petition regarding reopening the churches. And I wish to point out to the listening public that the petition is not regarding the spirituality of what is happening. It is not a petition that is aimed at whether or not God closed the churches down, as a Christian body is debating regarding it. It is about the legal constitutional right to worship in the manner that you choose, which is afforded by the Constitution and recognized by our Constitution, the ECHR, and the United Nations. And so I would like persons to just put the spiritual aspect of it one side, and let us focus on maintaining our rights, upholding our constitutional rights as afforded to us by the Constitution. I used the example the other day, and I said to someone, I said, you pay for your driver's license? They said, yes. And I said, you utilize your driver's license? They said, yes. And I said, if a police officer told you not to drive on the road, what would be the first thing you told them? And they said, well, I paid for my driver's license. I'm legal to drive, and so I'm going to drive. I said, okay, so you would maintain the right to drive? Yes. I said, you'd argue for it? Yes. I said, well, okay, the Constitution gives you the right to worship in the way that you so choose to worship, keeping in mind that not everybody chooses to go to a church building, right? But the right exists for you to go to a church building. I said to a fisherman yesterday, I said, if your choice to go worship the Lord is to get into your canoe and row beyond Pine Reef, holla hallelujah 3 times and then row back in, that is your right, right? And as Christians, we need to become more wise about our legal rights and stand up for our legal rights. Listen, there's a reason why we have rights, and they are removed when we don't defend them and they aren't utilized and protected, right? A research by the religious research body, Pew Research, PEW research, showed that the body of persons who are least likely to speak out are those who identify themselves as conservative. And particularly it is because, and when they did further, they found out that the reason why is because the reason why they don't have anything to say, why they remain quiet, is particularly because they don't know what to say. And I think as Christians, persons who, you listen to Christians talking, the first thing they say, and God said that I would be the head and not the tail, but it's time for us then to start acting like the head, become more informed, utilize our rights, protect our rights, and realize that in protecting our rights, we also protect the rights of other individuals. And that is a responsibility that we have, to not only not do harm, but not to allow harm to fall to others. And so that is what I wanted to point out about the petition. There's something else I want to, I've listened to you talking about it on the radio this past week, and I think it's been mentioned every day. And it's a topic that is at the top of everybody's list, and that is the murder of George Floyd and the racism that is associated with it, and police brutality, and so on and so forth. And I wonder how much attention that we are paying to police brutality here in Cayman. Now, was what happened to George Floyd wrong and detestable? It certainly was. I was unable to watch the entire video because what was happening was really so detestable. It was not that, he was shot down in a moment. It was just so persistently evil, continuously evil, that I was unable to watch the whole video. So may he be dealt with in accordance with the law and receive the punishment or reward in accordance with the law, having had a fair trial. I don't think it's going to be hard for us to imagine what the outcome of that trial will be. But I want to bring to your attention a report that you may be aware of, because it is a press release. It is the Ombudsman's report on the motorcycle chase earlier this year, and the video that was circulated.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen it? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, okay. The Ombudsman released a report, gave an update on it. The report was from dated the 2nd of June 2020. And on the first page, it states, and I'm going to read this out, and anyone who wants this can get this from the Ombudsman's office, or Dwayne, I don't know, perhaps you may have a copy of it, that if they call in, that they could get
it was as you said, it was a press release issued and credited to the Ombudsman's office, and it was sent out, like many of the press releases now, electronically, by email.
Okay, good. Here it reads, and I quote, and I'm going to read from 2 paragraphs. The Ombudsman found that the force used by the arresting officer when he grabbed the motorcyclist's arm and pinned him in order to handcuff him was necessary and reasonable to end the pursuit and effect the arrest. However, the Ombudsman was concerned about the second officer's use of his baton to strike the motorcyclist. This is the officer. The motorcyclist was on the ground. He was already handcuffed. He was. She goes on to explain there was a bit of a tussle, but the fact of the matter is he's already been subdued. He's in handcuffs, and then the officer comes and strikes him with the baton. She found that this use of force was unnecessary and unreasonable, given the suspect was on the ground and, though struggling to get up, was not strenuously resisting arrest. She also cited several tactical and situational factors which were not considered by the officer. The Ombudsman, paragraph 2 that I'm reading, excerpted from the report. The Ombudsman also found that the conduct demonstrated by the same officer when interacting with the woman at the scene did not comply with the RCIPS Code of Ethics and Standards of Professional Behavior. The code sets out expectations for officers concerning self-control and tolerance and treating members of the public with respect and courtesy. The Ombudsman found the conduct to be unprofessional. I have two things in those two paragraphs that are unpalatable, and I have been unable to say firmly and decisively which one of the two is most unpalatable to me. Whether it is that he struck the guy once with a baton, or whether it is that his conduct in the public was found to be unprofessional and that he did not treat the woman with respect and courtesy. Dwayne, it's hard for us to get past to a good result if we don't start first from a respectful position, right? Then you start looking at the fact that his use of force was unnecessary and unreasonable, and that several tactical and situational factors were not considered by the officer. Now, this is a representative of law enforcement of the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. And I broke those words up for a reason, right? And who it represents and what it is supposed to represent and how it's supposed to operate. Now, if you think that there's much of a difference between George Floyd and the young man that was laying on the ground, the difference is George Floyd is no longer with us and the young man is. But they both suffered an abuse of power at the hands of the police. And what I want to say to the police service today, and what I want to say to Caymanians today, and what I want to say to citizens of this country today is this: that when people are in a position of power, they are to execute that power in a civil manner. Section, I think it was 802 of the Civil Servants Code of Conduct quoted that an officer in the execution of his duty, a civil servant in the execution of his duties, must conduct himself in a civil manner. As police officers, you don't get the right to beat people because you are a police officer. You are held to a greater degree of responsibility to conduct yourself in a professional manner, to uphold the law in the execution of your duties than most other people are. Because of the position that you hold and the purpose that you hold that position for. You can't go as a law enforcement officer and break the law, right? And you can't go as a person who is there to protect and serve others and abuse them. And the people of Cayman, that is everybody living in this country, because we all are subject to the law. You don't know what time it's going to happen to you. So don't go thinking now that because your skin color may be a little different than mine, because mine is as black as they come, right? And I'm talking about my heritage and not the actual color of my skin, but from my existence itself, that it means that you're exempt from any type of police misconduct. There are hundreds of thousands of cases per year where police misconduct lead to injustice. So let us not deceive ourselves. But what we have to do is we have to hold the police service accountable for the service that it renders to the country. That doesn't mean we have to go out there and loot and burn and destroy the place and so on and so forth. But what it means is you need to start communicating your responses to events that are negatively impacting you in a responsible way to the powers that be. Because if you don't say nothing, they don't have anything to react to. And we have a civic responsibility as citizens in this country to monitor the government and to make sure that the executive in the execution of their duty is doing so in a professional manner. I intend to write to the commissioner because it has been forwarded to the commissioner for disciplinary action, and she probably is not in a position to demand what that disciplinary action is. But I will be writing to the commissioner and saying, you deal with this to the fullest extent. of your powers is afforded to you under the law to rectify this situation. And it's also not an image that I want to have portrayed of my Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. I want my Royal Cayman Islands Police Service to be trustworthy. And when you see them coming, you want to embrace them instead of running, go hide from them, right? But one of the problems that we have with this Royal Cayman Islands Police Service is this. And what I'm about to say, I'm not the least bit concerned whether or not anybody want to call me xenophobic or not. Because I am a Caymanian and I'm going to defend my Caymanianism until the day Christ take me from off this earth by whichever way that he so choose. I am totally befuddled as to how it is that we are supposed to operate a Caymanian or Cayman Island legal system when our law enforcement is staffed in majority by Jamaican officers. I have started a statistics gathering on the recruitment of officers, and I intend to take it a bit further because someone else in the community shared some stuff with me about recruitment of police officers, and I will be sharing that as soon as I possibly can. But we have a police service that is staffed in majority by Jamaicans. Not all Jamaicans are bad. That is not what I'm about to suggest. But what I'm saying is this. The Jamaican Police Service itself is one of the highest investigated bodies of law enforcement for murder alone. And if we are a docile people and we are being policed by a nationality that is a forceful and often regarded as unlawful, and that does not apply, unlawful does not apply for every Jamaican, but it is a synonym with Jamaican behavior. And if the cap fits, wear it. If it don't, let it run like water off your back. So how can we expect to have lawful behavior if you're recruiting from a forceful, renowned, unlawful nationality? We follow that on with this. The prison service is staffed in majority by the same nationality. Our judicial body, is headed and staffed by Jamaicans as well. I'm going to say this to you like Apollo 13 said that day, Houston, we have a problem. And I doubt that the problem is that there are not enough Caymanians applying for those jobs. I don't think that's the problem, because I have heard about other Caymanians going to recruitment drives and never getting a response back from HR. Now, as Caymanians, we have a responsibility to ourselves and to our country, right? To ensure that we are, through unity, a prosperous people. What I would encourage other Caymanians who have applied before and not been successful, go back and apply again. Because we have a country in shutdown, where the justification of employment of foreign nationals in this country cannot be easily justified. And if there's any positions available within government for contracts that are going to be renewed, those should go to Caymanians who can qualify and train as police officers and as prison officers and even in our judicial system, because there is no true excuse for having a law enforcement system so heavily staffed by another foreign nationality in such a docile and small population. And that is my contribution to this country today. And I thank you for...
Yes, thank you very much for sharing your sentiments. And if you just have a second, I was just listening intently to what you shared, and respectfully, I think I've taken from you that we're looking at this thing in a light, especially as you make the correlation between what we hear, especially now, coming out of the U.S. that for the U.S. black community, when they see police, there's a growing distrust. They don't, look at it the same way as the white American sees it. And I'm concerned from what you shared. What if that happens, to our community where there's a sector see the police and run and hide because they know, they perceive they have been sort of conditioned that, these are not here to help protect and serve. One question, if I could maybe just put on the table and see what people think of it. If in the U.S. again, but we see it in other jurisdictions, but because of what is transpiring now, if in the U.S. there's a conversation about how police are being trained and recruited, whether they should be continually to be sort of militarized with the equipment and the training protocols, are we now making that mistake with our approach with creating this, regiment, this military, giving our police the resources that they have in terms of guns and ammunition and the like? Is the mantra that Sir Robert Peel laid down, as sort of that figure of being the father of modern policing, as it was in the UK? Have we gone away from that? And there's no longer to protect and serve, but something else. Mom, you put a lot on the table. Certainly, as one caller referenced previous, there's someone this message and shared. What is your perspective on parenting and families when they come into the role in our society with respect to law and order?
Dwayne, if I could split that into two, right? And take it first from the regiment and then the family.
Is that a quick answer? And respectful, I know you have incredibly busy with all of the charitable things you do. Do you want us to take the break and you answer us, or do you have to hit off and we can just, if so, then we can just quickly reference it?
I tell you what, let me quickly reference it, and then perhaps we can make arrangements for me to join you on another day.
Oh, would be awesome, and a community member who has something to contribute that would encourage us the conversation. I'm always welcome. But yes, ma'am, go right ahead.
Thank you. The regiment. Now, I come to understand that the regiment is training at Sandhurst. So they're not training to become police officers. You're not talking about a service style of training. You're talking strong military type of training. Sandhurst is a very, very well-renowned military training day. So what citizens need to start asking the governor and the premier and their elected representatives and the deputy governor, who is responsible for the portfolio of civil service, what exactly is going on? What exactly is the regiment and what is its role? Another question that we need to ask is this: why has there been such a prolonged military presence in our waters, and on our shores, and in our skies? Let me share my personal opinion with you. I am of the mind that the military presence in this country is very, 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 very infinite, minuscule, related to hurricane preparedness. Now, is there the possibility of there being a national security threat that the powers that be are aware of that we're not aware of, and so they're taking precautions and don't want to alarm the public, and whatever may be or whatever may be not? I can't draw a conclusion on any of that. What I can say is this: the prolonged military presence, for anyone who has been paying attention, should not be making them feel very comfortable at this time. And for persons who may choose to think along the lines that, oh, that's okay because they are the UK, and I'm naming specifically because that's who they are. If they had been US, I would have used the US, and if they had been Jamaican, I would have said the Jamaican. But it's the UK military that is there. And so if their thought processing is going down the line that, oh, that it's okay because they are the UK military and governments don't do that to people and militaries come in to save, I want to remind them of Abu Ghraib. And I want to remind them of the Nazi army, and I want to remind them of Stalin. All of these things have happened at the hands of militaries, not of single-handed terrorists running through the streets, bombing the place down, right? So we must always be mindful of the presence of those amongst us. The family and its role in policing and safety. Here is how I learned to have a successful family. That we have a relationship as a church being the body of Christ. We have a relationship with Christ. Christ is in us all. And in that we can do no harm to other people. And because we have Christ in ourselves and we ourselves become a part of a unit known as a family, and we affect that same relationship throughout our family members who are a part of a community. And so we affect our community positively as well. And then because we are a member of the community within our district, within our country, we are actually affecting our entire nation in a positive way. One of the problems that we have in Cayman today is that there are no longer the strong parenting skills that we used to have, where parents told children when they were out of order, they said, no, you can't say that. You must say good morning, and then they gave you the name of Uncle Dwayne. Good morning, Uncle Dwayne. You might not have been an uncle in him.
Just
But
a handle for
that was
respect.
a handle that was that.
Handle for respect. Yeah.
Handle for respect. That's right. Okay? And we were taught to say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, and yes, please, and no, thank you. And to stand quietly, right? And people think that this is like some dictatorial behavior that you're putting on your children. No, it's not. It's called discipline. Discipline is not taking off your belt and beating your child. Discipline is spending time and repeatedly saying to your child and repeating the process over and instilling behavior. Chastisement is when you're taking off your belt. Discipline is the order that you're putting your children into. And I go to the supermarket sometimes, and you got some children tearing up the supermarket, and the parent exclaims and says, man, I don't know what I can do with him or her, you know. And you know something, Dwayne? They're not telling you no lie when they say, I don't know what I can do with him or her. They literally do not know how or what to do. But there's hardly ever a time when you see the older person step forward and say, hey, well, come here. You having fun? Yeah? Well, listen, you're here in the supermarket, right? And show the child and the parent how to manage and to behave in this situation. We have a parenting problem. That is for sure.
Right.
And
Let me
the government, sorry?
forgive me. I apologize for the commercial breaks that we do have to take. I don't get to them when I can. I'm just wondering sometimes, how do you want a talk show following a standard where second you gotta interject a conversation? But anyway, maybe I don't know any better. Can I invite you publicly? Maybe we'll come on at some point over the next week or two. If you have time, maybe we'll be able to farm out to another panelist and have this conversation. I have a bunch of WhatsApps that are complementary, or at the very least sort of going along with your sentiments. I want to read them. There's a caller. But respectfully, let me ask you to leave us there and we'll pick it up another time.
Yes, and I will reach out to you further then about further in the
Yes, ma'am.
conversation.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right?
Thank you very much. All right, have a blessed weekend. And again, disrespect, not intended at all. Sorry we did take the break on time. Let's pause and do that now, and then to the caller, join us after the break.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
The Wharf Restaurant is back open to the public. After after donating over 20,000 meals during the lockdown, we are energized and proud to have been able to help. Book your waterfront reservations today and enjoy live music while watching the sunset on our spacious and breezy terrace. The Wharf has fresh fish and fresh local produce options every day, as well as an extensive wine list. We are family and kid-friendly with a kids menu and tarpon feeding every night. We are looking forward to welcoming you back. Call 949-2231 to book your table today at the Wharf.
Hi, my name is Neraya LeBlanc. I am the minister and evangelist to the West Bay Church of Christ on 24 Batabano Road. I would love to take this opportunity to invite you to experience God's family at West Bay for yourself. We are a caring congregation that strongly believes in reaching out beyond ourselves to spread the gospel of Christ. We also take great pleasure in ministering to the needs of our people in our community. As God's called out kingdom people, we are in the business of transforming lives for the Master's use. For more information, you can visit our website at westbaycichurchofchrist.org or call us at 946-9294 or 917-1809.
Declaring the word of the Lord.
Cayman Islands Church of Christ presents Word of the Lord.
Word of the Lord, heard Sundays at 6:30 p.m. on Radio Cayman.
Dear students, we know that you miss your friends, being outside, and most of all, coming to school.
And we hope that you understand that everything happening right now is to keep you safe from harm.
You are our priority. You are the future. So even though this is a tough time, we believe in you to be the leaders we know you can be.
To stay focused on doing your best work, even when no one is watching.
To be helpful and respectful to your parents and guardians at all times.
To be kind and thoughtful of everyone around you.
To always be thankful, even for the little things.
And most of all, to remember to keep in touch with us because
we are here for you. Love your teachers.
A message from the CIFEC, Clifton Hunter, Creek and Spot Bay, Georgetown, Prospect, Savannah, and Sir John A. Cumber Schools, and Little Cayman Education Services.
Radio Cayman News.
The COVID-19 suppression efforts disrupted the normal vaccination routine for many children, but public health officials say they are working to get that back on track now.
On Sunday, bars and restaurants with outdoor spaces were allowed to reopen to customers.
Everything is on course for this week's British Airways flight, with Governor Roper confirming it will be full.
Radio Cayman, your official source for Cayman's COVID-19 response. Hear it here first.
Travel between the three Cayman Islands remains restricted until further notice. Persons may only travel between Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman to provide essential services or for emergency medical purposes. Persons traveling between any of the three islands may do this by contacting BRAC Travel at gov.ky with the details of their proposed travel, including purpose of visit, length of stay, accommodations, etc. Applications will be processed on a case-by-case basis. All individuals traveling to the sister islands from Grand Cayman must undergo a 14-day mandatory isolation period at a government facility. They will be tested on the 15th day, and direct transportation to the airport will be arranged if they have a negative result.
Obey the laws and wear the gauze. Protect your jaws from septic paws. Stay clean, Cayman. Reflection sells hand sanitizer from $2.99. 10 surgical masks are only $9.99. And the best KN95 masks from only $3.30. Volume discounts available at all 5 Liquor for Less locations. Shedden Road, North Church Street, Savannah, Northside, and the McClendon Drive Airport location. Don't miss the Liquor for Less incredible lockdown price markdowns. Hundreds of fine from $2.99. Cases of ice cold below wholesale prices. Save $9 off liters of. Enjoy our manager specials exclusively at Liquor for Less. Prices so low,
we can't say them on the radio.
Liquor for Less enforces the wearing of masks, social distancing, and preventative measures to help stop the spread of COVID-19, such as consistent hand washing and only leaving home for essential purposes.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Babes to teens.
Let's do it!
Step into Babes to Teens and you will find great clothing and other items at affordable prices for Babes to Teens. We will take you from baby registry and every age in between straight up to teen. Browse for clothing and accessories. Drop by today and get those hard-to-find pieces for your child at Babes to Teens. Located at number 8 Plaza Venetia, North Sound Way. Telephone 946-8157. Opened Monday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Customers are required to wear masks and be mindful of social distancing while shopping in store.
Who's next?
Healthcare Pharmacy cares about your health throughout COVID-19 regulations. Our Grand Harbor location is open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Our Governor Square Pharmacy on 7 Mile Beach is open from Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please ensure you wear a mask when entering our pharmacies and practice safe distancing. Call ahead to refill your prescriptions or go to www.healthcarepharmacy.ky to refill and transfer prescriptions online. You can also WhatsApp your refill or transfer 329-7313.
The Cayman Islands government wishes to advise the public that they will continue to distribute reusable cloth masks across the Cayman Islands with the assistance of the RCIPS Community Police Officer and Community Safety Officer in your areas. Members of the public living in gated stratas are asked to contact the Community Policing Department at the Georgetown Police Station on 649-4222 to arrange delivery or collection of their mask. Stay safe, Cayman.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
We know there has been a lot of changes, and Cayman Medical Supplies is here for the community. From gloves and sanitizers to mandatory supplies, including masks. Hours are now Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. till noon. Free delivery island-wide.
Do you know how much the economy grew in 2019? Or how much companies in the Cayman Islands earned from financial services provided to the rest of the world? And how much did foreign companies invest in the country last year? The annual business surveys being conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office from now until July 17th seek to collect information needed to answer these questions. The surveys include all entities that produce goods and services in the Cayman Islands. The surveys are confidential under the Statistics Law and are exempt from the Freedom of Information Law. Your response matters. Do your part. Fill out and return your survey forms to the ESO. Remember, better data, better decisions, better business. For assistance in filling out the forms or for more information, visit www.eso.ky or call 525-8565 or 325-6652.
Talk today.
but I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. It is open line and the political briefing is supposed to be at 2 o'clock. When it starts, we'll go to it. But until then, let's have some opportunity to share with you a few WhatsApps. But I believe there was a caller. And if is, well, good afternoon. Welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you today?
Fine, thanks you, sir.
Oh, very blessed and thankful. Yeah, looking for the rain, but still very thankful.
Yeah,
all the same.
boy. If you look at it, still far off. we need it. It's very hot, but we'll be thankful. We're still thankful.
Amen, amen, amen.
Be very thankful. I want to agree with that last caller that just called in there. Everything she said is completely right. I agree with her because I had to say to one of the MLAs a few days ago, one of the MLAs, if he can tell me what requirement it takes to be a police officer or be one of our rep or prison or whatever to be one of those, because some of the people, the size of some of the people that are not Caymanians that are in the police force, there's no way. I had me and him at the laugh, and I said, I know they're not getting the job for fitness. They must be getting the job because they're not a Caymanian. And he took it away at me. He said, "You're 100% right. That's one of the reasons why they get the job, not because of fitness, not because of their education, not because of their qualification. It's because they're not a Caymanian." And like the caller just said, as we can see, the majority and the heads of our department is Jamaican, and we can see that they're taking care of their own, because I'm sure they can't tell me that they haven't had Caymanians that have applied as a police officer and can't even get a phone call back to even say you're refused. So something is wrong with the picture. I don't know who it is. We've got to deal with it, whether it's the governor, whether it's the premier, whether it's the deputy governor, or who it is. But we need it fixed because it is getting worse. And like she said about the brutality, we have seen lots of cases where a lot of brutality has taken place, where people have had to go to courts and cost taxpayers lots of money already through that same thing. So we don't, and we're hoping that Cayman doesn't come to where the officers feel like they're better than everybody else, and they can do what they want to do because there's nobody to chastise them. It's like the fox watching the hen. So the call is 100% right. And like she said about the churches, it is right. It's not matter that we could have church online. The bad part about it, from the day we started to allow any business to operate here, the first business that was open up here, it was never shut down from the beginning, was the bars. No, something is wrong with that picture. I mean, are we trying to encourage the people to keep destroying their families? Because we all know when rum is in, witch is out, and there's a lot of broken homes through alcohol. But we were allowed to keep the bars open, and up until, I don't know what the next press briefing will say about the churches, but we haven't had not one person on press briefing, whether it's our reporters or not, besides Mr. Val Lewis, earlier part of the press briefing, that even had any comment regarding the churches as when they go open. Now, we say we are a Christian foundation. Is our Christianity gone? Do they think that God is sleeping just because we didn't have the death tolls and we didn't have the stuff? Something is wrong.
All right.
I mean, we must wake up. I mean, it's a shameless disgrace that the churches is the last thing to open. I mean, a lot of people was congratulating the premier and his team for the well done job that they're done and what they're still doing with upholding the law. But like most of the older Caymanians, especially, I would say, is very disappointed that the churches is not even open, but Sunday as the day that most of the majority of the religion in Cayman keeps Sunday for their Sabbath, and they decided that they would shut down everything on Sunday, but now to open back up, they open it back up on a Sunday. It looks like they're taking God for a game, but they must remember that God isn't sleeping, and He's the same God today, and He'll be the same God yesterday, and He'll be the same God tomorrow. So we must all remember that He don't need us; we need Him. We only remember Him in the time of need, but remember, He's always seeing us, and He don't sleep on yellow pine. What either? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you too. Thank you too.
Okay,
And
bye.
with that, let's go to the other line. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Not as good as you, Dwayne, but I'm good.
Well, prayer that tomorrow will be better.
It's hard to be as good as you, you know.
Well, I tell
I mean,
you
you
what.
up there in that radio station. Every time I hear you, all of a sudden it's got all these young, good-looking young women sitting down around you. So I don't know what I don't hear the guys getting any breaks like that.
Well, in our society, right, we see when the men were at sea, the Iron Men of wooden ships, even in those days, there were some very resilient, incredible women who were left behind. So our society has always been, and I'm honored to be surrounded by great people because it may, give me the chance to be even better.
You try to pay tribute now to the great women that never got the recognition they deserved back then.
Well, even to this day, we're probably still not recognizing our people, our women in particular, but all of our people. We don't have the deference. I mean, just take the caller prior to the one last, in referencing the ombudsman's report, and now we'll see to what extent the commissioner has authority and what will do. We also question to what extent the public's response in terms to the behavior, but. Someone sent, well, I saw it a couple of times, though, it was sent to me, a posting somewhere online, somewhere advertising. I think I have to go back now, but I think one of them was in the Cayman Kai area, some property for rent, clearly, evidently saying, not available for rent for residents in the country. Yeah, and, I mean.
But that's it. But this way, government has to step in and because it's discrimination.
Well,
if it's a public thing, if they open it for the public to come in, then you got to give everybody. I mean, unless it's somebody that is, got the coronavirus or something. But I mean, no. You see, that's what happened to us, Dwayne.
Yes,
we let people come here from foreign nationals that come here, and when I listen to the number of people now that are in charge of things like the what they call it, where they feed the poor, or where that there's people there that not Caymanians. It used to be everything was Caymanians. Dwayne, that's what I want to talk about today.
Yes, sir.
You go back to the 60s and 70s. You went into a grocery store. You went into the hospital. You went into any government building. You went into a bank. You went into a gas station. You went into a real estate place. And every one of them places, there were Caymanians were the majority in the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We go in construction, the same thing. Caymanians were working in the construction. Now, all of a sudden, because we've given this, but you see this, because this is, I tell you what it is. The good book says the love of money is the root of all evil. And I can tell you what's happening here. We have focused on, instead of watching the growth of this island, the numbers that come in here, instead of you see, that's why I loved about them old guys back in the 60s and 70s. They said, well, these people come in, want to build this, want to build that. Well, it's like we really, appreciate you wanting to do this, but right now we got enough hotels. All our Caymanian hotel workers are employed. We got this, we got that, got the other thing. And they worked with that in mind. And remember, we had a budget that was untouchable except for an emergency, where Mr. Marshall used to be the thing. I'm not saying that Mr. Anybody was perfect. Everybody has their faults. But that's one of the things I liked about those times. Now, when we need money, and I can give you some examples, we don't have the John Gray High School in Fittish, but we go out and spend $200,000 or $300-something thousand on 17 buses or whatever it was that they bought to do what? But we can't finish the high school for these children to get, for young people to get the education. No, man, we got to look at all this stuff here. We got people, these guys, when I was talking to Oshie this morning about when these people came down here about, I think it was one of the famous golfers that was going to be involved with this thing. And this guy that came down here, I can't remember his name, that was the guy that was supposed to be headed. This guy lives up in mid-Florida someplace. His job was, his company, all they did was renovations and in small construction sites like that. They didn't have no money. These are the things that happen, and we bring them in here and talk about this Ironwood thing that they were going to do. They were going to have a golf course. They were going to have this and have that, the other thing.
Community radio.
None of that happened.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be sorry to interrupt you. We do have the news break. That was that reminder there. So let's do that. And when we come back, we can talk more if you wish. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity. Stuck on you. Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Your 2 p.m. headlines brought to you by greenturtle.ky. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile. Saving lives today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Public health officials in Cayman say wearing a face mask is safe. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee says he has no concerns about the safety of wearing a mask, stating, surgical masks are worn by surgeons for hours a day while they are doing meticulous surgery. Carbon dioxide moves away from the body with each breath. That said, Dr. Lee does not advise wearing a mask during strenuous exercise. In international news, British Airways is selling some of its multi-million-pound art collection to raise cash to help it through the coronavirus pandemic, with one work believed to have been valued at more than £1 million. BA has seen a collapse in air travel and is set to cut thousands of jobs. Statues of Confederate leaders and the explorer Christopher Columbus have been torn down in the U.S. as pressure grows on authorities to remove monuments connected to slavery and colonialism. The movement has been sparked by the death in police custody of African-American George Floyd. Keanu Reeves is set to return as Neo in Matrix 4, which follows 2003's The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions. Reeves decided to continue with the franchise because he says it's a beautiful script and the story resonated with him. Lana and Lily Wachowski created the original 1999 film, which is now considered iconic in the sci-fi genre.
Your 2 p.m. headlines brought to you by greenturtle.ky. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile. Saving lives today.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today, it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Headlines. With the latest headlines.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Turning to international news.
Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Green Turtle. Modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
The Cayman Islands Regiment is looking for outstanding individuals who want to make a difference, gain unique experiences, and be a part of a team that delivers safety, security, and aid to those in need within the Cayman Islands and across the wider Caribbean region. To find out how to join and what the requirements are, visit www.gov.ky/CI Regiment and apply today. Application deadline is June 21st.
Travel between the three Cayman Islands remains restricted until further notice. Persons may only travel between Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman to provide essential services or for emergency medical purposes. Persons traveling between any of the three islands may do this by contacting BRAC Travel at gov.ky with the details of their proposed travel, including purpose of visit, length of stay, accommodations, etc. Applications will be processed on a case-by-case basis. All individuals traveling to the sister islands from Grand Cayman must undergo a 14-day mandatory isolation period at a government facility. They will be tested on the 15th day, and direct transportation to the airport will be arranged if they have a negative result.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember, the political briefing is scheduled for today. When it starts, we'll go straight to it. So you can call and share your thoughts and ask now for your, forgiveness if we cut you mid-sentence in order to get to that. A number of WhatsApp messages were sent through in relation to the caller prior who was sharing her sentiments. And let me go through some of them. Some I'll read verbatim, some I'll quickly paraphrase. This first one says, that we need to look more closely, as a paraphrase, at our recruiting methods and how do I phrase this now? Sometimes it's hard not to take people's words and use them directly, but it's from all and sunder like equally, and what we have as police, maybe leaves us wanting. Maybe put it that way, be a nicer perspective. So look at the recruiting to make sure we screen more closely. This other one says, the present says long time. The present caller just spoke my mind. She's spot on with respect to the employment of our police service, the prison, and the judiciary. And let's read this other one. It says, these are a WhatsApp message. If people really know what the regiment really means, oh God, they would think hard and very hard. And this other one reads, I could not agree more with that call who just called regarding the conduct of the RCIPS based on Jamaicans' overpopulation by staffing as well as the HMP service, that's the prison. And please share my comments publicly with the caller as well. So sorry we didn't get to that while the caller was on. And this other message, when being a police officer, how can one be if you have a back problem or other ailments? Who decided that? That's the first thing. Do they think the only thing that they hold is a taser or a gun or some baton? I hope someone will get rid of all these rotten eggs and bad apples and get people with some proper training, recruit from within. And a few others came through as well. And this last one that just came in, questions, the push towards a regiment slash army. Is this the questions asked? Is this to further polarize and divide the community? Knowing Kemanians' initial resentment and reticence towards policing with guns and heavy-handedness. I think that's what that reads. And should we now seriously consider given the riots, protests, and other things we're seeing in the U.S. following Mr. Floyd's death? Brackets murder. Well, what are your thoughts? The caller who put the questions on the table and laid out the comments as she read from the Ombudsman's report suggested that we contact the governor, the deputy governor, the premier, the representatives. And, well, where is the populace with respect to being engaged and informed? Where, as many have expressed concern, is, the public comments with respect to ensuring that our society isn't inadvertently, deliberately, or as this one reads, unknowingly, being pushed to a greater divided community. Well, your sentiments. It is a Friday afternoon. Monday is a public holiday. We celebrate Her Majesty's birthday. For some, it may be an unfortunate occurrence that this is probably their first time in their history that it wouldn't be the traditional celebrations. We understand that they'll air the Queen's visit back in 1994. So you can watch that as well. But is this an opportune time as we look at it? This other WhatsApp message reads that the reason the caller prior was talking about Caymanians of yesteryear being in the employment majority is simple. There were less people, there were more Caymanians and less jobs. Question has often been asked, for whom are we, so that's how it reads, for whom are we developing, has never been fully answered. And the answer is simple. The more we grow our population, the more services being demanded by government. The increased population demanding more services. And the provision of more means that we import more to fill the more that has been created. More isn't always better. Sometimes less is more. I think I missed a word there. Let me see. All right, well, it's a talk show. Call and share. And as we shared, the political briefing comes up shortly, and we'll go to it when it does. But if you have a thought, a question, a comment, or a query, and you want to share your sentiments with us, well, 949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow. Let's go to the phones. Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, you forgot about me, one.
My friend, I honestly should have asked, are you still there? And I assume, what I say, never assume, So I apologize.
Anyway, not to worry. What I wanted to say before I got off, you were talking, she would mention something about the Sunday, the young lady that called in and talked about Sundays, how, most of us serve God on Sunday. But the thing that I don't understand is, like, even if they go out, each week they have a different pastor that has his sermon and his thing that it could be recorded, it could be played on the radio. I don't think government can charge anybody for that. And people could hear them, because what they do now, they get these little bits.
All right. I wasn't deliberate. That now is that tune for the political briefing, so it's about to start. Let's take it there. On Monday, no talk show. On Tuesday, God's willing, we'll join you. Be blessed.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's press briefing on the coronavirus. I'm Donna Bush. Very glad you could join us on our various channels as well as on Radio Cayman. We go first to today's prayer by Reverend Richard Fraser.
My Father and my God, in the name of Jesus Christ, I come. I want to thank you for your divine protection and your divine provision towards us. I lift up all our leaders to you right now, God. I pray that the spirit of wisdom and the spirit of knowledge and the spirit of understanding continue to rest upon them as they seek to make decisions to guide us through these challenging times. I pray for all our frontline workers as they seek to protect us from this dangerous virus. I pray that your hand of protection will be upon them and upon their families. I pray for the people of these islands that you will comfort our heart and that we will continue to be receptive and adhere to the directive given by our leaders. God, I pray for the safety of every person in these islands. I pray for the speedy eradication of this dangerous virus, not just from our island, but out of our world. God, we look to you. We thank you for what you have done for these islands so far. And we continue to look to you. And we say thanks in Jesus' name. Amen.
And thank you, Reverend Fraser. We now welcome our panelists, His Excellency the Governor, the Honourable Premier, as well as the Honourable Minister of Health. With us in the studio are the Chief Medical Officer, the Forensic DNA Specialist and Quality Manager, Angela Tanzillo-Swartz from the HSA's lab, as well as our Deputy Governor, the Honourable Franz Manderson, the Director of HMCI, and our sign language interpreter. On Zoom, we have members of the media. We go first to Dr. Lee.
Good afternoon. I've been advised by my good friend Mark Jordan that I have to give the results out first, so that's what I will do. There are 599 tests to report today, bringing the total number of people who have had tests, the total number of tests we've done in Cayman to 17,276. One of those tests was positive, and it's assumed that this person had a community-acquired COVID-19 disease. The total number of positives across all the islands is 187, the number of 3 being unchanged in Cayman Brac. Of course, that is an old figure. The number of symptomatic is 3, the number of asymptomatic is 67, and we have 1 admission to the Health Services Authority as a result of what may well be related to COVID symptoms. 115 have recovered. Of the people in government isolation facilities, there are 96, and in self-isolation at home, 317. Patients seen at the flu clinic on the previous day were 13, and the flu hotline received 19 calls, of which 7 were flu-related. Just a reminder, please, if you have any symptoms which you may think are related to COVID disease, if there's any suspicion, or if you're a doctor reviewing people who may have symptoms related to COVID, please send these people along for testing. Testing is now pretty much straightforward, so I would encourage people to go for testing to be on the safe side. And this message will continue into the future. Please, if there's any suspicion, isolate yourself, make sure that you're tested and followed up by a health professional. I'm very delighted that Angela from the labs, we've all heard a lot about over the past few months, is here. We all owe her a great debt of thanks, as her normal day job is to work in the forensics laboratory, but because of her skills in relating to PCR testing, she's been able to change that over and do the PCR testing for this human disease. If please will the people who are of the press, please remember that Angela's here to answer any questions should you have any. Thank you, Donna.
Okay, Dr. Lee, members of the press have a few questions for you first and then for Angela. We're going to go first to Wendy from CNS. As a matter of fact, I don't see Wendy on here. Something's happening there. Reshma, we're going to come first to you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you are there. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, Wendy, please go ahead.
Thanks, Donna. Questions for Dr. Lee. I just want to clarify, first of all, The hospital admission, so there's 3 symptomatic people, and the hospital admission is one of those people.
That's correct.
Okay, is that somebody from the screening process that has developed symptoms since testing, or was it a person that presented as sick?
In fact, this person had been screened, but he's presented as sick subsequently and has had a further test, and that has also been positive as well.
Okay, I just wanted to check that because it kind of ties in to one of the questions that I was going to ask you, because these are the kind of things that people are getting very, very interested in. It seems to be a few days, Dr. Lee, since you've said any of the positives were contacts. There were all of these, the last few days have been purely what we presume to be acquired in the community. So what a lot of people are asking is, do we have the figures on how many people that have been asymptomatic, that have tested positive, that have passed the virus to their contacts? So the contacts of the people that have tested positive who are contacts, that's the kind of question that people are asking. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I don't have that figure readily, but in fact, the answer will probably be much better answered when we have the antibody testing.
Right.
Because we know that a lot of the positives we're getting are relatively weak, which means they currently have a very low viral load, and we don't really know if that viral load is infectious. And in many people, it might not be infectious, but we don't know who it is infectious in and who it isn't infectious in. When we're able to do the antibody testing, we'll then be able to look at all of that, which is why I think I've mentioned, I think it's been mentioned in a reply to you, which is why we are going to do the antibody testing alongside looking at the contacts as well as the people who've been positive to see how many of those contacts were in fact positive, because that will probably give us a better answer than doing PCR tests when we know that the viral load is weak and that these are likely infections that have happened some time ago. I hope that you can follow that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yes. Thank you very much. It's helpful. The other question I have is relating to this latest report, though I'm not even sure if the work has been peer-reviewed or anything. But do you have any thoughts on this report regarding children? Apparently, there is no evidence that children have passed the disease to any adults or anyone else for that matter.
I haven't seen the report. To me, that sounds. I would be surprised by if that turns out to be the case in the fullness of time. But I've not seen that particular report.
All right. Okay. I'll probably ask you about it later when you've had a chance to see it, because it is related to the WHO. So it might have a bit more weight. I don't know. But that's it. Thank you very much. I appreciate your help with those. Thanks, Donna. I have more questions for Dr. Lee.
Okay. Thank you, Wendy. We're going to go now to Reshma from the Compass.
Thank you, Donna. Good afternoon, Dr. Lee. Just a quick
Reshma.
question on the hospitalization that you mentioned. Can you tell us if the condition of the person?
The person is stable.
Okay.
Don't really have much more to say. I think, with any illness, it's relatively early days, but is stable.
Okay, thank you. We now have 3 symptomatic cases. The child was the first one since April that we registered. The second case, was that someone who developed symptoms along the way after being tested positive?
I think you're talking about the symptomatic cases, aren't you?
Correct, the symptomatic.
Okay. So of the 3 that are symptomatic, none of those is the child. The child that we talked about got better really quickly, like within 24, 36 hours. There are 2 that have been symptomatic. Well, there's one, then there's another been symptomatic for a little while. The symptoms are relatively mild. They're managing at home. I think it's always really difficult when you're putting a lot of emphasis on following people up. Sometimes symptoms become magnified by the fact that you're looking at them. That's a known fact, but they're relatively mild. They're being managed at home for the other 2.
Okay, great. Thank you for that explanation. Just a quick question for, I'm sorry, I forgot.
For Angela?
Yes, Angela. Thank you, Donna.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Angela.
I just wanted to find out how your team has been managing with this entire COVID crisis. You've been thrust into the dealing with a lot of tests, a lot of demands on you. I'm just curious, how have you been dealing with and how have you been managing it?
Very carefully. No, I'd say we're all quite tired because we have been working long hours, but like I said, we're all in this together, and the fact that it was a simple thing for us to convert over the testing that we already do for PCR to be able to help manage this crisis and provide all of the medical personnel and government with information that they can use to help them make decisions. So it's been difficult but worthwhile.
Okay, great. Thank you. Can you tell me, the HSA has said that the antibody testing is supposed to begin this week. Has that in fact started, and how are you going to manage the two separate lines of testing?
So the antibody testing is going to be done in the HSA clinical pathology laboratory on their existing analyzer that they use to run other antibody tests as well. It's my understanding that the supplies for that have only recently arrived, so they'll need to go through their standard verification and validation procedures, determine that it's fit for purpose, and then they will begin testing. And then that information, along with the PCR information, will be provided to the clinical personnel and the CMO's office.
Okay, great. One final question. I know that there's been a lot of tests coming your way. Can you say how many we have that are pending right now for that process of testing, PCR testing?
It's not as many as it has been in recent days. I think that my laboratory currently has possession of just under 500 samples in progress, and that we should have results out for tomorrow. I think there's a total of just under 1,000 currently pending.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Thank you, Reshma. We're going to go now to our panelists, beginning with the Honorable Premier.
Thank you, Donna. Happy Friday, everyone. I wanted to speak a little bit about the issue of arrivals and accommodation and so forth. There's been an unfortunate exchange on social media that has led to a lot of angst and frustration and anger in some instances, because, as often is the case with these things, there is a certain amount of truth and then a whole lot of speculation. So the Bay Air Bridge flight that arrived yesterday, I want in particular to speak to that and to make it clear that government is not prioritizing new work permit holders over Caymanians or permanent residents, as is being alleged. In fact, government has put Caymanians and PR holders as the priority from the very start. The vast majority of the passengers on yesterday's BA flight were Caymanians. In summary, the flight included 69 Caymanians, 2 permanent residents, 12 civil servants who are expats and their dependents, as well as 12 individuals coming in to work on the airport project, the rehabilitation of the runway. There were only 19 individuals on the flight with work permits. I would also confirm that a government policy remains that the employers of work permit holders entering the Cayman Islands must pay for the time spent in mandatory isolation at a government-approved facility. I acknowledge that there is an issue with ongoing availability of room stock to be used for isolation. Currently, there are 3 facilities in use with a total of 226 rooms. These are the Holiday Inn, the Wyndham, and Palm Heights. Palm Heights rooms are available for a cost and have been taken up by work permit holders as well as some Caymanians and PR holders who prefer more upscale accommodation. We are continuing to seek additional accommodations, and discussions have begun with one major hotel. The challenge in finding accommodations is in part because some properties are now gearing up for refurbishment ahead of what they are hoping will be a decent staycation period and then eventual reopening of tourism later this year. Next week, I hope to be able to provide a further update on accommodations. However, before I finish this bit, I know there are some questions with regards to the numbers of Caymanians who are in the U.S. trying to get home. I am currently advised there are 110 Caymanians and 55 PR holders in the U.S. who have registered to come home. There are another 158 Caymanians and PR holders from other places who have also registered to come home. With the responsibility for managing these repatriation flights being turned over to Customs and Border Control, going forward there will be only one entity with oversight of the process, including looking at the overall requirements for repatriation across all jurisdictions, rather than focusing on a per flight basis. And we believe this will allow for a more efficient way of linking persons wishing to return with the accommodations that are available. We understand that there are many people who believe they ought not to be placed in mandatory isolation and would prefer to self-isolate. The government's view still is that given the level of infection that there is around generally, particularly in the United States and the United Kingdom, that we cannot run the risk of allowing people to self-isolate. We do not have the means to effectively monitor that they are staying at home. And while things are still, despite today's announcement about one hospitalized case, things are still generally going well here. No one knows what the impact of the introduction of another strain of that virus will have on infection rates, or indeed how sick it may make persons who do become infected. Thus, we are still, for the time being, going to insist that persons who do return isolate in a government facility for the period of 14 days. Moving on, as I think most people will realize, the government is now truly focusing on getting people back to work as we continue to reopen various sectors of the economy, and indeed to help people retool and repurpose, because tourism is still very much, and will be for the next little while, still very much, I don't want to say dead, but barely alive. So we have relaunched the Ready to Work program. This program is designed to provide industry-specific training and retooling of Caymanian workers to better prepare them for the workforce. It includes paid internships by the employer and or by the government when required, and includes support for child care, if applicable, as well as counseling and coaching. The benefits for the job seeker include a stipend provided along with support services, such as child care counseling and career coaching, experienced and knowledgeable facilitators who will deliver an established employability 101 training program. It provides a structured pathway to employment whilst addressing barriers to employment, provides an opportunity for full-time employment that aligns with the needs of both participants, and it provides a dedicated officer and HR support to ensure that you are provided with the tools and support to ensure a successful connection with employment. For the employer, it offers a subsidy for 6 months. Potential candidates are provided with training and development of employability and soft skills to better prepare them for accessing employment. It is an opportunity to fill job vacancies with Caymanians and to make a contribution to the development of Caymanians, which will, in the longer term, ensure a vibrant economy. Provides HR support and a dedicated officer to support with any performance issues or barriers to employment that would impact the ability to be successful. And so for more information, whether you're a job seeker or an employer, you may email readytowork@gov.ky. That's ready with the numeral 2, work@gov.ky, or you may call Paul Puckering at 925-7230 or Diane Connolly at 925-7230. That's Paul at 925-7230 or Diane Connolly, same number, 925-7230. I also wish to provide an update on the government's micro and small business relief measures. 2 months ago, it's not long ago now, the Minister of Commerce, the Honourable Joey Hew, announced a number of relief measures that Cabinet approved to support micro and small businesses. These measures form part of our efforts to arrest the economic disruption of COVID-19 and include a low-interest loan program, funding of $5 million, micro and small business grant program, $9 million, technical assistance program, $500,000, and training and hand-holding program, $21,000. The total amount in assistance that government is providing to support the programs is $14,521,000. The Cayman Islands Center for Business Development, which falls under Minister Hughes' remit, is tasked with administering the various programs. In terms of update, as of June 11th, which was yesterday, 586 applications have been received, and 77% of all applications have so far been processed. The total value of grant applications submitted to be paid out is $759,969.41. 77 businesses have already received full payment of $3,000 each. The low-interest loan program, funding for this program is to be provided by the Cayman Islands Development Bank. 48 applications have been received to date, representing 34% of available funds. And we are really hoping that the Cayman Islands Development Bank will be able to swiftly deal with these applications. We know that there is considerable demand for this funding. The technical assistance program and the training program, contracts have been signed with technical assistants who will provide guidance and coaching. Of the 20 low-interest loan applications for which credit checks have been completed, 16 have been transferred to the technical assistants. 338 persons have participated in 6 training webinars hosted by the Center for Business Development. They have covered relevant topics such as managing cash flow in a crisis, moving your business online, among other areas. I want to encourage micro and business owners to pursue these opportunities, which are available to assist you in navigating these challenging times. The micro and small business grants, for example, is money being given to small businesses to provide working capital assistance. We have worked to make the requirements very simple, so please contact the Center for Business Development to learn more. The hotline is 244-8009, 244-8009. Email cicbd@gov.ky, cicbd@gov.ky. And I also want to provide a briefing on the Passport to Success, cohort number 30. Passport to Success is a 16-week soft skills training program that bridges the gap between high school and the world of work for young people ages 17 to 24. It is managed by the National Training and Development Unit at work and delivered by the Wellness Center. To date, more than 500 young people have participated in the 10-year-old program. It has serviced a wide spectrum of young people, young parents, young persons with special needs, and young people in their final years of high school who attend during the summer. While it is females who generally attend the program also welcomes young males. Today, Friday, 12th of June, is graduation day for cohort number 30 of the Passport to Success program. This cohort was one of many firsts. Starting on the 28th of January 2020, it was the cohort that, one, experienced the 7.8 magnitude earthquake that rocked the island, heard the announcement of and prepared for the COVID-19 pandemic, sheltered in place and observed the island's quarantine measures put in place for its citizens, the first to be instructed and learn via the Zoom platform, and now the first to graduate via Zoom. The dedication, drive to overcome adversity, openness to change, and determination to complete the program has been exemplary. To them, I say congratulations and best wishes. These 10 young people will be looking for employment opportunities in administration, construction, retail, utility infrastructure, and travel. Hiring these young people will give them the opportunity to apply the skills and knowledge they have learned and grow the local economy. Young persons who wish to participate in the program going forward can do so when the next cohort starts on the 22nd of June. Deadline for applications is the 16th of June. For further information, you may email work, worc.training@gov.ky, worc.training@gov.ky, or call Diane Connolly at 925-7230 or Paul Puckering at 925-5827. And so I just want to give a shout out to the 10 successful graduates today: Jared Borden, Delicia Brown, Isaiah Cornwall, Jada Dixon, Dazon Godette McPhail, Leah Forbes, Taraya LeMay Nottage, Moticia Mothin, Sabria Seymour, and Tristan Watler. And I'll just conclude my contributions today by 2 birthday shout-outs to Lana Ebanks of Savannah Newlands, whose birthday is today. I won't say how old she is. And to Jin, Mrs. Virginia Borden. Happy birthday to both of you.
Thank you, Premier McLaughlin. Your Excellency.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And yes, good afternoon, everybody. And I, first of all, just on the testing and the results, another 600 today. Angela has unfortunately left, but I was going to just say a huge thanks to Angela and her team for what they've done, because when we look back on this COVID crisis, that the testing will be without doubt one of the outstanding success stories, and Angela has played an absolutely crucial part in that. Let me also send my best wishes to the person who has been hospitalised, and we do wish you our very best at this time. So I think with just one positive today, again, our strategy remains on track. I believe, as the Premier indicated on Tuesday, that we remain on track to significantly ease restrictions from the 21st of June, and I know more information will be given on that in due course. But in the meantime, all of us mustn't let our guard down. We do need to keep going with the social distancing, the basic hygiene, and the wearing of masks. Secondly, today, I'm very pleased to announce that the Deputy Governor and his senior leadership team are launching an exciting new initiative called the CIG Cares Community Support Programme. The official launch will be next week, and this is an opportunity for our civil servants who wish to participate in the programme to opt in and support some of our most vulnerable Caymanian community members. The Premier at previous press briefings has noted that the Needs Assessment Unit is seeing unprecedented levels of demand as a result of the economic impacts of COVID-19, currently supporting 3,000 Caymanian families, providing food vouchers, rental assistance, help with utilities and burial assistance. And 60 new applications are being received every day, so there is real pressure on NAU. This new initiative, CIG Cares Community Support Programme, will create an opportunity for the civil service to provide financial support to the NAU's Grocery Voucher Fund, which will help put food on the tables of our most vulnerable Caymanian families and seniors who are clients of the NAU. Civil servants will be able to choose to make a regular monthly donation or a one-time lump sum donation through a simple payroll deduction, however small or large they want to do. But pooling funds in this way will have a very positive impact. So I'd like to commend our excellent Deputy Governor, who's here with us and can answer any questions if there are questions on this, for this really excellent initiative. And this is in keeping with our civil service mission to make the lives of those that we serve better. And I hope it will get broad support. On flights, as the Premier has already indicated, the BA flight arrived safely yesterday with about 100 people. But in total, that flight, which went via the Turks and Caicos, will have brought 300 people into the region, including a number of Bahamas citizens who got off in Turks and Caicos. And I've had a really nice email from the Director General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Bahamas thanking us for the support with that flight. Also, many Turks and Caicos nationals and British Virgin Islands nationals, we were in Cayman, were able to help them go home, which again I think is a really wonderful regional initiative. That flight goes back to the UK via Turks and Caicos in about 2 hours, and there are 278 people on that flight leaving the Cayman Islands today. Fourthly, I just want to say the Premier and I yesterday attended a very impressive beach landing and medevac exercise that our Royal Navy ship RFA Argus organised, and I think it was really reassuring to see the capacity of that ship. Cayman Islands has great experience and expertise in dealing with disasters, and I think HMCI do a fantastic job. We support the region, but seeing what that ship can do in the immediate aftermath of a hurricane, I think is really important to us. The RFA Argus will be with us for about another week as they continue to provide helicopter cover for RCIPS. Some of the crew from the ship will be supporting the Botanic Park with some basic infrastructure and engineering tasks, so you may still see them going backwards and forwards to the Botanic Park. Of course, we will be managing the COVID risk very, very carefully. I also just want to note we've had a great reaction to the recruitment exercise for the Cayman Defence Regiment. Over 200 people have already applied to join it. As I've said before, and the Premier and I are united on this and working hand in glove on the regiment, I want this regiment to be predominantly Caymanian, and I encourage as many Caymanians to apply as possible. And I really do believe, I say this again, I think we are building something here which the Cayman Islands can be very proud of. And then finally today, just want to note again that sadly on Monday will be a public holiday for Her Majesty the Queen's birthday, but because of COVID, we won't be able to organise a parade or a reception. I am pleased to say that the Cayman Islands government is rebroadcasting the 1994 royal visit, the TV footage from that visit. That's showing from today until Tuesday the 16th on CIG TV. So I've seen bits of that already, but I'm looking forward to watching that over the weekend. And secondly, on Monday, the Deputy Governor and I will be delivering some Queen's birthday treats to some of our frontline workers. So just to thank those that are working on Monday morning. So I wish everyone a very pleasant public holiday on Monday.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Donna. Good afternoon, everyone in Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Caymanian diaspora listening in. Deputy Governor and Governor, I want to say I will be the first to donate $100 to your fund. And I just want to remind you, though, to deduct it, because I will forget. This is more than the virus now. It's about anxiety, depression, panic attacks. This is a very stressful time. And you know, my interest in mental health and ensuring a place is being built as we speak, so we can have a real program here in Cayman. But it's about getting telemedicine going. It's about ensuring our health insurance policies has enough mental health coverage. And we understand some persons are living in fear. Students are struggling. Parents are struggling. Parents working from home are stressed to the max, as reported, working longer hours than a normal workday. Most parents are struggling to keep up with online schooling, and then they still are expected to pay the tuition in full. No nannies, but everyone is expected to come to work. Persons who depend on tourism or ports are seeing our regional neighbors opening their borders and are anxious to know if and when our borders will open. Businesses are stretched, especially the mom and pop operations, and it seems to be no easy way out. We are here with you. As stated, the government understands the concerns out there, and we are busy behind scenes working to try to address. As you heard, the Premier mention some of the things that we are doing to try to help with this initiative. Today's scripture reading comes from 1 Peter 2, 1-3. Therefore, rid yourselves of all malice and deceit, hypocrisy, envy, and slander of every kind. Like newborn babies, crave pure spiritual milk, so that you may grow in your salvation, now that you have tasted the Lord is good. I want to shout out today one of my best friends, Miss Reba Dilbert, our costume queen. Happy birthday to you, Miss Reba. Also want to say happy birthday to Shiloh Wright. Hi, Shiloh. I also want to say happy birthday to one of the young Caymanian teachers, Miss Justine Ebanks. Happy birthday to you. Also, happy birthday to Steve Gordon Edwards. Happy birthday to you all. Also want to say happy birthday to young prep school student Esno Sobioto, who, as a 7th grader, released a turtle named Lord of the Reef. Today is your 12th birthday. You're very lucky. Today is your lucky day. You're 12 on the 12th. Happy birthday to you, Esno. And also wanted to say thank you to CIBC First Caribbean, who donated 40 computers to the Department of Education this week. Thank you so much, CIBC First Caribbean. Also wanted to shout out Hacha. Get well soon, my brother. Most may remember, but I keep saying COVID-19 should have taught us a thing or two, and we should have learned about traffic, working from home. At the same time, I make no reservations in saying that we have to take this opportunity to retool, retrain, and to ensure every Caymanian who wants to work should get an opportunity to do so in whatever void has been left by COVID. And those industries that have been hit the hardest need to publicly display their efforts to train our people. It's no excuse about not having enough time to train. They will have at least 6 months to do so. Companies should be flagged for cooperation or non-cooperation, and it shouldn't be surprising if your quest to import staff is frowned upon. Benjamin Franklin said this quote, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn." I see Dr. Lee come to the podium, and if Dr. Lee knows the amount of paper that I have here, I will yield and allow Dr. Lee to go ahead. Your most important work.
Dr. Lee.
Thank you, sir. Not very much to add. It's just a couple of things. Just that my maths was incorrect. I apologize. I don't know where that comes from. I hate my maths to be incorrect. But the total tests today are now 17,227, but there were 599 done yesterday. And as I have the floor, just I noted, and thank you for somebody pointing it out to me, that the Health Services Authority is recalling all its metformin extended release tablets. This is the most common, metformin is the most commonly used drug around the world to treat type 2 diabetes. So there will be probably thousands of people on the island using metformin. But do please bear in mind that this is the extended release formula that's being withdrawn, not the ordinary release metformin. Please discuss this matter with your local pharmacist who will be able to make arrangements to switch you over to whatever's suitable for your particular condition. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to say that Sunday, June 14th, Cayman Islands will join countries around the world to celebrate Blood Donors Day, a day that serves to raise awareness of the need for safe blood and blood products, and to thank blood donors for their life-saving gifts of blood. I've received some outstanding statistics from the blood bank today that I'd like to share with you all. Data from the blood bank shows that 69 units of blood were collected in March, 151 units in April, 160 in May, totaling an amount of 380 units. Also, there were 11 new donors in March, 87 in April, and 96 in May, totaling the amount of 194 new donors. According to Judith Clark, the manager of the blood bank, these numbers are extraordinary and surpass the number of donors, new donors we have had around the same period last year. I want to commend those of you that have taken the time to contribute to these numbers. Your actions is a true example of what it means to be Caymankind. I also implore our regular donors to continue to donate and potential donors to reach out to our blood bank. They are now located at the Red Cross on Huldah Avenue, across from the cricket grounds in Georgetown, and they are particularly low on the O positive and O negative blood types at this time. Blood is an important resource, both for planned treatments and urgent interventions. It can also help patients suffering from life-threatening conditions live longer and with a higher quality of life, and supports complex medical and surgical procedures. It is also vital for treating the wounded during emergencies of all kinds, natural disasters, accidents, armed conflicts, and more, and has an essential life-saving role in maternal and paternal care. For more information and to book an appointment, please visit www.bloodbank.ky or call 244-2674. On another note, I hope you all were able to watch the Mental Health Symposium. I trust that you found it interesting and helpful. If you've missed it, don't worry. We're sharing the link on our social media channels, and you can also go to the CIG TV YouTube channel and watch it there. In thinking about mental health, I keep hearing discussions around insomnia, strange dreams, and nightmares. The coronavirus seems to have given the world a sleeping problem, by many having to adjust to several drastic changes in a quick manner. So it's understandable that our sleep is being disrupted. There are so many things that keep us up at night: social distancing from loved ones, school closures. For some of us, it's working non-stop hours from home. For others, it's not being able to work at all. Or from our brave essential staff, it is having to risk themselves and their families every day to go to work for the rest of us. As we continue to adjust, we must stay as physically and mentally healthy as possible. Sleep plays a big part in this, as sleeping well offers many health benefits. The National Sleep Foundation in the U.S. offers some great tips in maintaining a good night's rest during the COVID-19 pandemic. The foundation states on its website, sleep is critical to physical health and effective functioning of the immune system. It is also a key promoter of emotional wellness and mental health, helping to beat back stress, depression, and anxiety. Why is sleep so important? Well, as mentioned, sleep enhances our mood and can improve our mental health. It also allows for a more effective immune system, strengthening the body's defenses. But sleep also heightens brain function for children and adults. Rest supports a clearer memory, complex thoughts, heightened learning, and leads to better decision making. But on the other side of the coin, too much sleep can make people feel irritable, groggy, and cause a lack of focus. So we are encouraging you to strive for a balance and set sleep goals. Routines can help create a sense of normalcy. Try stretching, yoga, meditation, calming music, and quiet reading to help develop a routine. Try to schedule going to bed at the same time every night and waking up at the same time every morning. And set a routine for getting ready in the morning as well. For example, showering and getting dressed even if you aren't leaving the house. Try not to do any work in your bed. Leave the bed for sleeping and the desk for working. During the night, if you find that you're having a hard time staying asleep, get up and do something relaxing in very low light. Returning to bed and try again to fall asleep. Turn off the lights, devices, and the television, as blue light produced by electronic devices has been found to disturb the body's natural sleep-promoting processes. It's of course better to stay active, as Dr. Lee has preached to us throughout this crisis. So plan a time to move around each day, as regular activity has several important benefits, including better sleep. I would like to remind everyone to visit the wellness page, which has so many useful tips and resources at www.explore.gov.ky/MIND. However, if you are still having significant sleeping problems after employing these tips, I would encourage you to get in touch with your doctor. On a happy note, I would like to give you an update on the musician stipends being handled by my ministry. I am pleased to report that a total of 149 completed applications were approved for these stipends. 54 payments went out early this week. Another batch of 84 are in process today, and a further batch of 11 persons for next week. My ministry is contacting all persons as payments are available. The government is pleased to have been able to assist these persons who have had their incomes and lives severely disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic, with these stipends of $1,000 each. I wish to thank persons at my ministry, the Acting Chief Officer, Nellie Pucci, Ms. Sharon Roberts, and Natasha. I'd like to thank them for getting these payments processed. There are about 50 names or so that we hadn't received applications for. The names were turned in either by the CMEA or one of your colleagues, but we have not received an application indicating that you want the actual payment itself. If you're having difficulty with electronic access, we ask you to call 244-3170 or 925-8373. Or go to your representative's office and they can scan the document over to Ms. Sharon Roberts at gov.ky. This is only for names that have already been submitted before the deadline, but most forms were not signed. You just need to indicate that you want the grant. If you have unpaid premiums for the month of May, in health insurance premiums, we'd like to remind persons, if you've lost your job, and you should register with the Health Insurance Commission, and you have until June 15th to apply for the assistance. Further details, including an instruction sheet and application form, can be found on the department's website at www.dhrs.gov.ky. Under the Health Insurance Commission, you may also reach out to them on hic@gov.ky for further information. Thank you for enduring my lengthy presentation and have a restful, long weekend and put the phone away.
Thank you, Minister of Health. I'll begin with questions today, and then we'll move to the media who are joining us by Zoom. My first question is for Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee, I'm not sure that you mentioned why the recall on the metformin. People are curious as to why there was recall. Okay.
Hi, Donna. I'm sorry I'm not privy to that information. Oh, I've got my mask on still. So
we did wonder why you put it on.
So I apologize, I don't have that information. I would imagine that there is a contact given on the HSA's press release to have more information, or your pharmacist, I'm sure, will be able to find that out for you. I apologize for that.
Okay, no worries. Thank you very much. My next question is for the Honorable Deputy Governor, Franz Manderson, who's joined us here today. His Excellency talked about the program or the project earlier where civil servants are being asked to assist in helping NAU with those in need. How was that idea born? Where did that all come from?
Thank you, Donna. Over the last few weeks, I've had so many civil servants reach out to me and state their appreciation for having a job, that their salaries have remained intact, but they care, and they wanted to know how they could give back to the community. You know, joining the civil service gives you this fantastic opportunity to make people's lives better in a very meaningful way. And they wanted to give back. I talked to the chief officer for the Ministry of Community Affairs, and she actually said, I have a program at NAU that would be most beneficial if civil servants would be willing to give up a small portion of their salary to help. As the Premier has said, and we all know, there has been a huge number of persons, a huge increase of persons going to the NAU, and we want to make sure that no one in this beloved Cayman Islands goes hungry. So the civil service across has been very supportive. I've talked to our senior team, I've talked to our heads of departments today, and everyone thinks it was a really great idea if we were to launch this initiative. So I'm really proud. And I know that we will get lots of support across the civil service for this program.
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy Governor. I have a question for Minister of Health. Monday is a holiday, June 15th, so is a deadline extended to maybe Tuesday for health insurance?
For
Monday is a holiday.
the musicians grant, for the health insurance?
Yes.
It's normally, I mean, it can be emailed in.
Okay.
So, I mean, they can email it on Monday.
Okay.
We wouldn't refuse it if it came in on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I have a few more questions. Premier McLaughlin, earlier you mentioned something about staycations, which you're probably very much aware that staycations are being advertised by hotels and some local condos, even going as far as to giving dates. That staycations will begin. Do you have anything to say in regards to persons advertising specific dates when the dates haven't been announced yet?
Well, they obviously know more than I do, because we're still working on those things. So I think they're taking a shot in the dark. Maybe it's not real in the dark. They're watching the logical way in which we're going about the reopening process. But yes, we do hope to get to staycations fairly soon, but we haven't settled the date yet.
Okay, thank you very much. Also, just for clarity, as I know you've addressed this several times as well, Premier McLaughlin, are persons allowed to use their boats for pleasure in Grand Cayman?
Under the current regs, no, just for fishing.
Okay, and that of course includes jet skis, all of those motorized pleasure vessels.
Unless somehow a jet ski becomes a fishing vessel.
Very much for that. Another question, the Scholarship Secretariat, what plans are in place for students who will be returning to school overseas very soon? Any word from the powers that be as far as kids who are going to be attending school overseas, university, that will be going back for the summer?
Is this on flights? Or
could be on flights, yeah, as well as.
I would say there's a whole lot of. I mean, what is the issue? What is the question?
The question is what plans are in place for kids to go back to school. Some questions related to their scholarship secretariat and their scholarships, that sort of stuff. Them wanting to find out if their scholarships will be paid up to date before they leave. Flights.
I would need specific questions to be able to answer. I don't have that vast amount of information in my head. If the question is whether or not their scholarship money is going to be paid, the answer to that is yes. I can answer that categorically. Whether they go back to school, again, the scholarship secretary doesn't make arrangements for flights. That's the personal responsibility of the student themselves. So,
I mean,
I don't know how else I can help, really.
No, that's right. No.
I think on flights, let me just say that a lot of people have been in touch about flights to the UK, and we are looking at 2 BA flights, probably end of July and 2 or 3 weeks later in August. And then there is a separate exercise which the Premier's Ministry is leading on for people who want to go to the US and Canada, and names have been collected. So work is in hand, and we're very aware of people's needs.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so we're going to go to Wendy at CNS. Wendy, please go ahead with your questions.
Thanks, Donna. My first question is for the Premier, and it's regarding what he just said about the small businesses. It seems to me that the number he gave for people applying for loans seemed to be pretty low. I just wondered whether he could comment on that and explain maybe why so few people seem to have applied, and also, just out of curiosity, what the rate is for those when you say low-cost loans, what rate are people paying?
Well, that has been the most problematic part of the whole exercise, because we are not in direct control of the process. CIDB is, of course, a development bank, fully licensed and operating with its own management and board of directors. So we set up the system, we provide the money, but they have their own protocols with respect to it. One of the limiting factors is that this Cayman Islands Development Bank law requires that loans can only be granted to 100% owned Caymanian 100% Caymanian owned businesses. So that eliminates a significant number of entities that would be operating here that might be Caymanian controlled, but still have foreign ownership, some degree of foreign ownership. So I think that is probably one of the factors. We are having discussions about this because this is quite worrying. Frankly, this is the one truly underperforming bit of the package that government is trying to roll out. So we had discussions about it as recently as in my caucus a couple hours ago. So we do recognize that there are issues here. The interest rate, I don't know that off the top of my head, Wendy. I'm sorry. I can find it out easily, but I don't have that.
Okay. I'll check in with the relevant authority at some point and find out why. The other one is a much more simple question, and it's just straightforward housekeeping. Apparently, the school bus situation still hasn't been resolved.
Yes, it has.
Do you know why?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Payments are being made. I checked.
They are, okay, because we've just seen copies of letters that were sent out very, very recently to drivers and workers saying that they hadn't been paid.
Letters written by whom?
Written by the bus companies
to
their staff.
Right,
saying,
understood.
Sorry, we haven't paid you, but government hasn't paid us.
Understood. The problem is resolved. I'm happy to say that.
Okay, fine. And the other question, still in education, I don't know how much government has digested the report that came out from the inspectors yesterday or the day before. And I know that you're not necessarily going to want to go into great detail about it, but one of the things that I was hoping that you might be able to answer is that one of the recommendations, obviously, is that education is going to need a lot more funding, and what policies you think are going to be able to be the most effective in terms of catch-up, because that's Obviously, one of the things that the inspectors have pointed out is that the kids are going to need, many children are going to need a lot of assistance with catch-up. So are we looking at extending the school day? Are we looking at extending the school years for the next 2 years as suggested? Like, can you give us any idea of what government's taking on board from that report and the funding?
When I've only had a chance to take a preliminary look at it, and we sort of referred to it in caucus this morning and early afternoon, but we have not had a chance to use your word, to digest it yet, or to look at the recommendations, or indeed to have discussions with the technical staff about how best to go about addressing what all of us recognize is a problem, or are problems, I should say, going forward. It is going to be a challenging next school year, without a question. But if you give us a little chance to digest it, we'll come back to you.
I'll bring the question up again next week.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all for me for the minute, Donna. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Wendy. We're going to go now to Reshma from the Compass.
Thank you, Donna. My first two questions will go to the Deputy Governor in relation to first the announcement on the program, the Community Support Program. Mr. Manderson, can you say this program is going to be a voluntary program, and is it going to start at the paycheck this month or next month?
It's absolutely voluntary on how much you give, voluntary on how long you want the duration of the payment to continue. And our plan is to have it initially for the NEU, but maybe if this is something that really takes off and does very well, we could expand it to other charters as well. But our hearts and minds right now are with those at the NEU. Our staff there has been doing a really wonderful job meeting the demands, and we want to be there with them and help them do their jobs a bit better by having some additional funds to give out. Sorry, what was the other part of your question?
The other, I'm sorry, the second part is if it's going to start at this month's payroll or next month's payroll.
Right, so we want to spend about a week or two doing some promotions around it to make sure that all civil servants are aware. As you know, some people are working remotely and some persons don't have access to fill out forms and all those things. So we want to give it about a week or two to get around the civil service, get our civil servants back in office, and then we will be able to introduce this. So I would think probably not this payroll, but the following.
Okay, great. Also, as you touched on it with the returning to work, you would have met with your chief officers and heads of departments today to discuss that, the way forward. Can you provide us with any update on the plan for civil servants and returning to duties?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, let me just say it is not return to work because we've been working all along. So it's return to the office. Yes, I've been corrected on that myself. So we have really been working very hard at home and on the streets and everywhere to try to keep our people safe. It has gone exceptionally well. Everyone, I think, is keen to work again with their colleagues and to be in the office, but we understand and they understand that our safety of our staff, the safety of our customers must be paramount. So the plans that we have call for a phased reopening. We want to make sure that when the government announces its next reopening phase, that the civil service can immediately respond to make sure that we're providing 100% of our services, but that doesn't mean that we will have 100% of our staff here in the building or here at any government department. If they can continue to provide the services at a very, very high level from home, then continue to do so. If you have to be here, then yes, come to work. We will provide you with the necessary PPE equipment. We will provide social distancing, hand sanitizers, everything that we can to keep you, our civil servants, and the customers safe. So we have a good plan. Our facilities management has done a lot of work preparing the government administration building for staff to return, and we just want to keep the lines of communication open. Obviously, a lot of persons are concerned about childcare, what happens if they're required to come to work, but they have their children are not yet being able to have someone to come and take care of them. So we're looking at that as to how, what we can do to address those concerns. But we're not going to force our civil servants to come to work and leave their children at home. So we've been working now for a while through these issues, and I think we have a really good plan that everyone understands and appreciates.
Okay, thank you for that. Do you have a tentative date set yet, or you haven't gotten to that stage?
Well, a lot of that depends on the elected government. If the Premier gives the signal next week that we're entering a new phase on the 22nd or 23rd or 21st, we'll be ready.
All right, great, thank you. I guess that should be a good platform to jump off on to ask the Premier if we are in fact moving to another phase starting next week on the 22nd. Are we in a position to say that yet?
Yes, unless something jumps out, something really nasty jumps out at us, which we don't expect, we will be moving to another level, suppression level 2 on the 22nd. At the moment, we're still working out the details, and we'll keep at it this afternoon and over the weekend. And I hope to be able to sort of indicate by the middle of next week so that people have some time to prepare before we actually pass the regs themselves and publish them to take effect on the 21st or 22nd, I think it's the 21st. But what we're contemplating now is actually a 4-week, a set of regs that will last for 4 weeks, and sort of following on the same pattern of the current one. Although it's 4 weeks, it'll be essentially two phases within the level 2. So one would take effect on the 22nd, and the other on the 5th of July, and then we're actually looking at the 19th of July and beyond. So we've got the framework, we've got the structure done. It's now the hard work is really working out the details, making sure all of these pieces work together well. So that's
great,
that's my weekend break.
All right, thank you for that, Premier. I've been getting messages coming in constantly. Ask about the beauty salons, ask about the accommodations and the staycations. Any hints on whether those will be included in that first phase of the second phase of the first phase of level 2 or the second phase, or you can't say that right now?
What I can say is that they will all be accommodated within level 2.
All right, that's good enough. Looking ahead to the governor, just quickly before I forget, the messages also came in for you to ask about the flights to India, if you've had any updates on that flight, because of there's a particular deadline that is running very close for the Nepalese community to get home. I think June 25th is the last window for them to re-enter their home country. Can you provide us with any further updates on those flights?
Thanks, Reshma. I think I've sort of indicated before that we were still in negotiation, and BA was in negotiation as well with the Indian authorities about the sort of the PPE requirements on the flights. That's still ongoing. We're doing our very best, but I can't today give a firm date for those flights. But we're doing our very best to get agreement to that as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you. Today, we would have marked 100 days officially since our first confirmed case. Maybe, Premier, you can speak to it, and the governor as well, and the Minister of Health. But looking back on these 100 days, are you happy with where we are right now in terms of the management of COVID-19? Are there any, protocols or any sort of changes that you would maybe on reflection not have done or have changed? Can you speak to that 100 days of this? Can you speak to this milestone of 100 days?
she asked you.
I think she asked both of us. Yeah, I mean, I think as we've repeatedly said, I believe we acted very quickly, we acted very fast. I think that the Premier and his government takes a lot of credit for that. And I think all those early measures and then the ability to develop testing in the very extensive manner in which we did, and all the PPE equipment that we managed to secure, which was extremely difficult, we've put ourselves into a really good place. And I think our strategy has worked and compares incredibly well with many other countries across the world. So, we can't be complacent. As we know today, we have a person in hospital, so the virus is still out there. But I believe that we've put ourselves in the very best position to be able to open up as much of the local economy as possible. And the challenge that remains is the border, and everyone is working really hard to work out what we can do about that, but nobody really has any answers out there as of today. Premier agrees with every word.
Absolutely. I endorse every word.
The flip has the switch. There's a flip up the switch. Usually, the governor says it the other way around, right? Quickly, though, and this question came in. I know Premier touched on this in terms of the isolation facilities and the mandatory requirement for everyone to be isolated at the government isolation facilities. But a question came in asking if government would consider, say, options like ankle bracelets or GPS tracking for people returning so that they can isolate at home, and that way you can have that assurance of monitoring the movements of individuals who return. I believe it's one of the practices that is being used in Hong Kong as well. Is this something that you may be willing to do at some point or have under consideration?
Well, I don't know how effectively it's been used in Hong Kong, but it requires technology and platforms and infrastructure and people to monitor it, none of which we currently have. So we would have to we would have to gear up in that sort of way. I see Danny come to the podium. Maybe she's got some news that I don't know about.
Thank you, Reshma, for the question. Not so much news, but again, a lot of research has gone into all the different methods. We've had a lot of the NEAC counterparts researching everything from ankle bracelets to the apps to pretty much any possible way of monitoring this. We've also had a mechanism in place to, make regular checks, phone calls, and so forth. But again, at this time, the quarantine facilities, the mandatory quarantine facilities is the policy. And again, we'll have to just carry on looking at different methods. But at this time, we think that's the appropriate method for the current time.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Believe you me, Reshma, if we could find another more effective way, we'd be more than happy to adopt it. This is expensive, time-consuming, frustrating for everybody involved. But self-isolation just doesn't work anywhere else in the world. If people come back here and are asymptomatic, they don't even know if they have the virus or not because, of course, we don't do the test until at the end. Chances are they're going to say, I'm perfectly fine, man. I'm going to go to Foster's or I'm going to go to the gas station or I'm going to go to the bank. And with the number of people that are coming back, chances are we won't even know whether they were to be isolated or not. So really, until we can find a way to manage this significant risk, which has the capacity very swiftly to undermine everything that we've done, if a more virulent form of the virus is introduced here and lots of people start to get really sick, we've just going to have to toe the line and try to find the means, the accommodations, so that more of our people can come back more swiftly. We understand the frustrations. Every single day, I personally deal with people who write to me, usually write to me or call me, complaining about this issue, and I have to go through this same spiel. getting them to appreciate. And of course, we're getting increased pressure too from people who have homes here, who are not permanent residents in the true sense, but who have second homes here and who want to come and spend time. But they don't want to come and spend 2 weeks in the Holiday Inn at the government's I can't even say expense because they'd have to pay for it too, but at the government's pleasure before they actually are allowed to go through their $3 million condo. So it's, believe you me, we understand all of the issues. We're dealing with all of them, but we just can't so far find a more satisfactory way of significantly reducing the risk of the reintroduction of the virus here.
Okay, thank you, Premier. That's it from me for today.
Okay, Reshma, thank you. We're going to go back to Wendy at CNS for a quick question for the Honourable Deputy Governor, and then we're going to move.
Thank you, Donna. Appreciate that.
Yep, no worries. Wendy, please.
Am I able? Yeah, thank you. I'm able to ask. Deputy Governor, I just wanted to follow up quickly on what you were speaking about earlier, which is civil servants still working from home. From a long-term perspective, has it given you comfort that in actual fact this could now be a much more permanent policy for the civil service, given how much of an impact it would make on traffic and things like that, and people's sort of work-life balance issues? Are you considering making the option of working from home for civil servants that can a more permanent solution?
Absolutely, Wendy. There's always a silver lining in a crisis like this, and we have learned so much about what we can do at home. It is, some of the transitions has been seamless. I have a PA who has been at home throughout this pandemic, but I have had all of my meetings arranged, all of my emails answered. Everything that I would have asked her to do in the office has been done from home. Now, I don't want her to get the impression that I'm saying she can stay home forever. But the only thing that I really had to do is go to the photocopy machine and get my papers. Otherwise, everything has really been done very well. I never would have believed that that was possible, but not having someone sitting next to me dealing with all of the various issues that I deal with on a daily basis. I've seen work permits being processed from home, planning applications being processed from home, all sorts of different applications, naturalization applications. I've been swearing in new citizens by Zoom. None of those things we would have thought was possible a few months ago. So yes, this has fundamentally changed the way in which we will operate as a civil service, and it'll make us much better.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. It's good to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Deputy Governor. We're going to go now to Ralph from Canadian Times. Questions for the panel. Ralph, please go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon, gentlemen, and thank you for your presentations. It's a good thing when you wait for the ladies to go first, all the questions get answered. I have one quick question for the governor. Governor, I applaud the initiative to establish the regiment. I know this is very close to your heart, and you've made some quotes regarding this new regiment program. What is the maximum amount of soldiers that you're hoping to recruit, or how large do you envision this unit becoming?
And well, they're not soldiers; they're part-time reservists.
Sorry.
So I think we're looking certainly by the end of August to have about 60 people in total, and then that means we'll have some people ready with sort of basic training for the peak of the hurricane season, because it's aimed to support our resilience in disaster preparedness. And then how it develops from there is something which is still under discussion, remains very much something that the Premier and the government will have their view on as well. But that's why I think this is an exciting possibility, because the direction it takes is up to us to design and to work out, and it can do pretty much what we want it to do. But we have to get it started and get it established, and then work it out from there.
I see. So regarding equipment and the location of the base, that's for future planning?
The UK is funding equipment, including uniforms. It's also providing training, and we will be bringing out a small training team from the UK, probably later in July, to help us do the training. The base and all of that, yes, that's still to be worked out, but there are locations already in the plan, and we'll announce that just as soon as we can.
Okay, just one last question on a lighter note. How is your steel pan repertoire coming? And do you have any plans to perform over the long weekend?
I like to practice every day, very briefly, just to keep my skills from going rusty. But as I've said before, I only have 3 tunes, but I am working on a 4th. But I won't tell you what that is. But it might take me quite a bit longer before you hear it.
Okay. I'm trying to learn pan myself, so I had a discussion with Earl up here, and he's given me a number of tunes, so maybe joining you one of these days. Thank you very much. That's all for me, Donna.
Thank you very much, Ralph. Any final words from panel?
Yeah, just to say happy birthday to Pamela Small. Also, want to thank Davenport for the computers they donated to the government.
I have 2 birthdays as well. These keep coming in as we sit here, right?
Yeah.
To my old friend Floyd Borden, I won't tell you who has told me to wish you happy birthday, but happy birthday, Floyd. And to my good friend Sabrina Turner, happy birthday. Although I've sent you private greetings already, I am being asked to do so by the Red Bay and Prospect Community Group Executive. So happy birthday, Sabrina.
Happy birthday to everyone that's celebrating a birthday. Of course, thank you to the public for joining us for today's press briefing, and of course to the panel for bringing us up to date on everything. A reminder to go online to gov.ky/coronavirus for answers to your questions. We invite you to watch the 1994 royal visit by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II right here on CIG TV. That happens this evening at 6 o'clock, tonight at 9:30. On Saturday, it replays at 8 p.m., on Sunday at 9 p.m., and at 8 p.m. on the holiday Monday as well. We hope that you will join us next Tuesday for the latest press briefing. Until then, have a safe and wonderful holiday Monday. For those of you watching via television, please join us now for a look at regional and world statistics.
Capping, of course, press briefing for this week. A repeat can be heard at 7 p.m. right here on Radio Cayman later on, following our information hour. The regular scheduled program begins right now. More than ever, we need to ensure our friends, neighbors, colleagues, and family are staying well with social distancing. That means being creative. Call them regularly. Create WhatsApp groups. Offer to assist with shopping or running errands. You could use an app like Nextdoor to see if your neighbors need assistance while the world grapples with the latest challenges. Be Cayman kind. Cayman Insurance Center. For 45 years, they have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future. If you need someone to speak to during these challenging times, call Denise Brown at 814-7229 or Michael Webster at 925-5433. Cayman Insurance Center. They care about you.
Want to save on your grocery shop this week? Well, check out Foster's Summer Specials.
We have select Chobani yogurts, 3 for $4. Save $1.97 on 3. Golden ripe pineapples, $3.49 each. Save $1.50. And Smithfield pork shoulder picnic roasts, $1.49 a pound. Save 70 cents a pound.
Price is good June 11th to 24th, 2020. Pick up our weekly specials flyer in store or visit fosters.ky for savings at your fingertips.
You love your dad. A.L. Thompson's loves all dads. So we're offering gift ideas at discounts to help you get him what he wants this Father's Day. There's an 82-inch LG 4K Ultra High Def Smart TV on sale for just $19.95 and a 32-inch Smart LED TV for $219. Perhaps he'd want the Cool Zone ultrasonic dry misting system, or Bose headphones, a smartwatch, a Weber grill, a paddleboard, a power tool, or a Conair massager and groomer. See A.L. Thompson's special prices on Father's Day gift ideas at althompson.com and give Dad a gift he'll love.
CC Football Association.
Hey fellas, we ain't gonna ever back down from nobody.
This is Alfredo Whitaker, president of the Cayman Islands Football Association.
I don't care who it is. This is a brotherhood. And if we stand strong together, we can't be denied.
Show your support. Your teams are working hard to be the best.
CIFA.
Cayman Islands Football Association.
Building a better future for Cayman football.
If one of us go down, we have another, and another, and another that's ready to fight.
Radio Cayman and CIFA, your team. 2020, your year.
So let's hit this field and bang them.
CIFA, Cayman Island Football Association.
Go out and support the matches in your district. The hurricane season is here. Are you ready? If not, now is the time to prepare. Follow Water Authority on social media for useful hurricane preparedness tips and important customer service announcement throughout the 2019 hurricane season. You can also download free hurricane preparedness brochures from the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky. Be aware, be safe, be prepared.
Wow, looks good. What is that?
Chicken chair.
What did you just say to me?
Chicken chair.
I am not a chicken.
Whoa, I said chicken share. It's from KFC. Bucket of 12 hot wings, 6 pieces of chicken, or 8 tenders. KFC chicken share. Just $12 each.
Oh.
Want some chicken, tenders, or hot wings?
You're sharing your chicken share with me?
The new chicken share from KFC, just $12 each, and it's finger-licking good. Dine at KFC Baytown Plaza, KFC Shedden Road, or KFC at the Strand.
Radio. With the switch of a dial, radio brings you tragedy, comedy, entertainment, information, education, a whole world at your command.
Give me some sound over here.
Radio Cayman's Super Jam Show.
Radio. Proudly sponsored by the Cayman Islands Football Association. CIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Word up, and we in effect. Keep on listening.
Super Jam.
The Super Jam Show is fueled by the proud sponsorship of insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center. Don't take chances with your family's future.
Another proud sponsor of the Super Jam Show.
Merengue Town. Time to feel the rhythm. Time to feel the vibe. It's time for Merengue Town.
Friday, no accident or incident weekend begins right now. I'm going back to the brack again. Cayman Brack and Little Cayman.
Brack party block on Radio Cayman.
Hey, yo, Brack party, is this thing on? Brack party.
This is Aaron. You're listening to the Brat Party Block.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the Brack Party Block, celebrating Cayman Brack and Little Cayman.
Problem is a problem. Have the girl them whining again. Girl, you're so amazing. Hey, fatty boom boom, sugar dumpling, sweet boom boom, sweet something. Tell me something. Tell me how you go wine like that. Tell me how you go bubble like that, baby. Look like you want me to get a heart attack. The way you whine in your waist set good and sit down on top. Then you bend up your back and you start push back. You give me good love. I wanna give you right back. Girl, you bend up your back and you start push back. You give me good love. I wanna give you right back. Can't start push back right back till you feel it. I want you to feel it. Feel this love. Can you feel it? This body is yours anytime that you want it, girl. Can you feel it? I want you to feel it. Feel this love. Can you feel it? And I tell no lie, I'm gonna work all night till you feel it. So y'all start wind up if you feel it. I miss a bubble up your body, y'all feel it. Accept the loving, y'all feel y'all start wind up if you feel it. I miss a bubble of your body, y'all feel it. Accept the loving, y'all feel it.
Brat Block.
Double M, yeah, 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 yeah. Drop in a style and the rhythm like angle me, bang. What a da 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 bang. Angle me, bang. Have a little money in my pocket 'cause I just got paid. I could do it a little more, but I'm still irate. So now I'm stepping out to a party. Trouble when I link up with my friends and family. Man, anywhere we go, we mash it up. We rip it up, we mash it up. Girl, them a fi bubble and them a fi back it up. Everybody see we and they say we act it up. We just living, mash it up. We rip it up, we mash it up. Girl, them a fi bubble and them a fi back it up. Everybody see we and they say we act it up. So I go take a little drink and I go do what I want. And I go wine if I feel like. And I go live how I want. Hey, so I go take a little drink and I go do what I want. And I go wine if I feel like. And I go live how I want. You don't know the vices. Work hard, play harder. 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 Work hard. Look me, I never trouble and trouble never trouble me. Hey, how we don't have time to argue with nobody. Say, we just living the good life every day. Hey, say that no bother way. You don't know we are ready, yeah. Man, anywhere we go, we mash it up. We rip it up, we mash it up. Girl, them a fi bubble and them a fi back it up. Everybody see we and they say we act it up. We just living, mash it up. We rip it up, we mash it up. Girl, them a fi bubble and them a fi back it up. Everybody see we and they say we act it up. So I go take a little drink and I go do what I want. And I go wine if I feel like. And I go live how I want. So I go take a little drink and I go do what I want. And I go wine if I feel like. And I go live how I want. You don't know the vices. Work hard, play harder. 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 Work hard. Angle me, bang. What a da 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 bang. Angle me, bang. Drop in a style and the rhythm like angle me, bang. What a da 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 bang. Angle me, bang. Man, anywhere we go, we mash it up. We rip it up.
Some people work less during COVID-19. Other people simply worked harder. Big up to either man. But big up more to the persons who are working harder. Essential subjects on the outside. Good afternoon. We thank you who are working those front lines. It is all about Kim and Brack, a little K-Man. That is how we do it on a Friday afternoon. The Brack Party Block in session.
This
second star to the max. Of course, this one produced by our very own Caymanian producer. We know him as JG, but the soca world knows him as Scorch Bonnet. So big up yourself on this one, JG. Oh, my bad. Scorch Bonnet.
The Cayman Islands Regiment is looking for outstanding individuals who want to make a difference, gain unique experiences, and be a part of a team that delivers safety, security, and aid to those in need within the Cayman Islands and across the wider Caribbean region. To find out how to join and what the requirements are, visit www.gov.ky/CI Regiment and apply today. Application deadline is June 21st.
Stop the spread of coronavirus by washing your hands with soap frequently. If none is available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Stay at home whenever you can. Avoid close contact with people outside your household by staying a minimum of 6 feet apart and wear a mask while in public. For more information, go to www.gov.ky/coronavirus.
Hi, this is Danny Coleman, Director of Hazard Management Cayman Islands. We are now in the hurricane season, and for information on how to prepare and stay safe, please visit our website, www.caymanprepared.ky. Some top tips to bear in mind, given that we are still in the midst of COVID-19. Please make sure you have a mask and sanitizer, you have food supplies that last for 3 to 5 days, a portable radio, personal hygiene and sanitation items, and medical supplies, and any other specific items your family may need during a hurricane. Make sure you know where you will shelter in the event of a storm. If you have pets, please make sure provisions are in place for them too, as the majority of shelters will not take pets. Please visit our website for more tips and tricks on www.caymanprepared.ky or call us on 945-4624. Stay safe,
It's
Cayman.
important for older people to focus on maintaining healthy habits during isolation to avoid negativity. Here's how Northsider John Edward Ebanks has been remaining positive during this difficult time.
Stay home and follow protocol is a plus for your well-being and others as well. Take care of yourself, relax as much as you can, learn to fight the boredom, keeping in touch with others and family members and friends. Always look for the positive in life and know who to call when you need help.
If you or someone you know needs assistance, call the Older Persons Helpline at 1-800-534-2222 today for free and confidential support. This message was brought to you by the Department of Children and Family Services.
The Cayman Islands government wishes to advise the public that they will continue to distribute reusable cloth masks across the Cayman Islands with the assistance of the RCIPS Community Police Officer and Community Safety Officer in your areas. Officers will be visiting homes in all districts over the next few weeks, and a limited supply of both disposable and reusable masks will also be available at supermarkets. Remember, you are required to wear a mask when indoors in any public place and when using public transportation. Continue to maintain a minimum of 6-foot distance at all times from persons who do not live in your own household, and wash hands frequently. Stay safe, Cayman.
Brag party blog.
Radio Cayman is definitely the hot spot. I'm gonna hit you up with the right track, man. That's Lotion Notice for Little Cayman and Cayman Brag.
I go to my grave to support this thing, yeah. Push the soca global. I go walk like slave to build up this thing, yeah. Push the soca global. No season, it's a full-time thing, watch out for the vibes that we bring, soca bound to reach Broadway. Don't surprise when the billboard chart. There's some of them that are stop the thing, but I come out here to walk it. Tell you some of them that are stuck, but I come out here to walk it. Right down to the music in a nice position to the well, we can cause drum shot. So tell them we back, soak I go rain again. Kaiso wants make the breakthrough, so let me plant back the roads calypso. But first, let me fix the local now. Then we got take off global now. All of the doubters want know how. Link the iTunes category now. Tell you some of them that I stop the thing, but I come out yet to walk.